Face front, true believers. Tiki here.
And Bluedragonfive, here yet again for the annual excursion. That's right, kids. I've braved the Baltimore ComicCon. I faced down the Monster Mania. I've gone to both of these cons, oddly seasonally, both placed in October, kind of bookending each other, opening October and closing out October. What do you know? Now, my associate here, Tiki, say hi to the folks, Tiki.
Hi, Tiki.
Close enough. That guy. He doesn't really go to conventions.
No,
Goes
it's
the
not
theme
my
parks
scene at all.
galore. Goes the theme parks galore like it's going out of style.
Theme
Kind of the
parks
flip.
are outside. I like outside. I don't like small, cramped spaces.
Wide open spaces.
I mean, it's like some people are like, why don't you go to national parks? I'm like, that's too wide. Theme parks are my perfect comfort level. It's like the Goldilocks of travel.
See, I'm just thinking of that Hey Arnold episode. They're all trapped on the subway train. You have that nut job on like wide open
God.
spaces. Anyway, point being, Tiki and I kind of flip flop in that regard, and that he has gone to theme parks regularly, where I've gone to conventions regularly. So we're kind of, I'm giving him the vicarious experience, and going to weave him a narrative. I'm going to show him how trip reports really done.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, is it just basically the only way I know how to do trip reports? Is like, is this attraction better than the one in the other side of the country?
That's what I'm saying. None of that. None of that. Because the answer to all of this is like San Diego, probably better. At the end of the day, if we're being honest, San Diego.
But is it better?
There is no question of is it better. We know what we are. We know we're not. It's not New York. It's not. It's not San Diego. It's not the top two. However, I will say this: you do hear. I heard this quite a number of times during the convention. Baltimore Comic-Con quite lauded for the fact that it is focused on the comic side of things more than the fame and fortune side of things.
Like, actually, yeah, that is super respectable nowadays, especially because of the dreaded superhero movie fatigue.
You do have a handful of celebrities, and I will reveal who they are. But that's the thing. It's just like a handful. It's not like wall to wall. It's not like the whole assortment. It's not like TV booths every which way you go, or like sponsored by The Walking Dead or something like that.
Dragon, you know what this episode is sponsored by?
Tiki, what is this episode sponsored by?
It's sponsored by that stupid website where you can go and get a piece of land in Scotland or whatever. Have you seen those ads?
Are we still doing this bit?
Yeah, I hate it so much. I hate it so much.
I think you're the only one who hates. I don't even care. You're the only person I've heard about this stupid real estate scam from.
They just.
I don't even think it's real. I think you just made it up, honestly.
They just keep showing this B-roll of this dude like literally getting knighted and like doing this excited fist pump, and I'm like, bro, none of this is real. Calm down. Your life is all right. I'm done.
Okay, we've trivialized knighthood and land ownership. Anyway, moving on.
That's exactly what they've done, not me.
Anyway. So, folks, the way we're going to do this is we got 3 days of Baltimore Comic-Con, and we have the Monster Mania. I'm going to save the Monster Mania because that is also on Sunday. I'm going to save that for the Sunday portion. But I'm going to lay it out and lay down the excursion. Let's see. I would deem this year the existential year of Comic-Con. I really would. There's a lot of thoughts, a lot of kind of journeyman kind of stuff at play here. I mean, this is me past the 10-year mark.
Of course, this year we've lost a lot of greats within the industry, so I'm sure there was probably like an air of that kind of like within the halls.
Of those greats I have met at this very con.
Right, exactly.
That's the thing. Like, Tim Sale. I mean, of course, tragically, Tim Sale this year we lost him. Of course, Denny O'Neil, Neil Adams, all the Baltimore Comic-Con, all now, unfortunately, and Darwin Cook as well. That one breaks my heart, but yeah, it's all. Anyway, so yeah, this is very much going back to the old stomping grounds. Last year was at the very. I forget if it was on the 10-year to the day. That was probably 20. It's kind of hard to place if it was 2019 or 2021, given the 11-year mark. But I believe one of those years was like the anniversary year for me in returning to the original building where it all started. Now I just went back to the building where it was kind of moved to for many years since the original year. Mm-hmm. Regardless, so let me lay it out for you. Let's start with Friday. So in the lead up to Friday, This is probably the most down to the wire convention I've ever had. Quite frankly, in terms of preparation and prep time, there's a lot of last minute prep let's just say was a tricky month, to say the least. So the Baltimore Comic Con was between the 28th and the 30th, and to me, I think the only time ever it's been that close to Halloween, like literally, ending the day before Halloween, and for a change, no sporting events going on, so traffic would not be wall to wall nightmare town. So small miracles, but still,
the
that's
real ghosts on Halloween is the traffic.
But still, it's such a weird experience. Like you're going into it and you have it's kind of like a 4-day war instead of a 3-day war. Essentially, like the last day is going to be Halloween, which is like, oh god, and there's another. It's another one to kind of get prepped and primed for.
Yeah, that's
anyway.
like the ultimate cosplay day.
Exactly, because I don't cosplay at the conventions because I would have to shuffle. I'd be stopped every 5 seconds to get pictures, and I'd be murdered to get stuff signed.
But you accessorize, though. You accessorize.
I do that. I do. So, and speaking of which, so again, this year was probably the toughest Comic-Con ever because I was. It's not that I haven't gone solo before, but I could not get anyone to the life of me to join me for Friday, so I was on my own.
Oh, yeah, and given the past years, I know just how much you kind of rely on other people in some spots, so
it's always good to have the buddy system, especially when you're trying to get multiple things signed, so that definitely put a damper on my grand plan, but see, the thing is, Tom King's there every year, and you try to get multiple things signed, and unfortunately, there was, traditionally, as you know from previous years, like a book limit, you get 2 free, and then it's $5 a book. So the more people you have, the more you get, kind of pounded out there. And the problem is, Tom King, great as he is, he keeps pounding those comics out, and they just keep coming and coming. So it's like a kind of the never-ending endeavor, unless you drop a huge chunk of change. Where's the fun in that? So this year for Batman the Animated Series' 30th anniversary, I figured I'd go with my logo shirt, Batman the Animated Series, which matches my phone case and matches my mask. So I was decked out in the visage of Batman the Animated Series, of course, wearing my utility belt and my GCPD badge.
Nice.
And wearing my Batman socks I got from Comic-Con a few years ago. So I'm decked out in the Batman. So I forgot, day one, I forgot the bane of my existence. The plastic top loader. This thing is a help, but is the ultimate hindrance, especially if you're going solo. This thing is like I had to get the biggest top loader I could find so I could fit almost any poster of any size in this thing. It covers everything. Problem is, very cumbersome and annoying.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I remember like when I went to Universal, one of the last things I bought that I had to carry around for like my last couple hours before leaving for the airport was just like a poster for Velocicoasters, and it wasn't even that big. So it's like, yeah, and that was a big pain in the ass to carry around. So I can imagine
because you're paranoid about it wrinkling, you're getting messed up and stuff, and yeah,
exactly, yeah, right.
The top loader prevents all those worries. Only problem is you got to carry it. So day one's the short day. It's from 1 to 7, kind of a later start. So I mean, I'm not as hamstrung in terms of losing sleep the night before. It's just kind of eagerness. We have 2 big comic celebrities aside from the other celebrities. So Celeb 1, basically these two, honestly, the way it kind of timed out is I saved all the other celebrities for Sunday, and I got each comic town was only going to be there for one day. One Friday, one Saturday. So Friday, I had never met him in person, but he had been at the con before years back. Jim Lee.
Oh, okay.
Of course, the man behind Batman Hush, very much, very iconic style, and also for a time, I forget if this is still the case, one of the head honchos at DC, at least the editor for a while. Of course, artist who worked his way to the top. Point being, so I get there. I'm at the con. Let's culminate this. I'm gonna begin our screen share process, kids, because I've got slides. To quote Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker. Let's see.
So I'm going to go ahead and remove my screen share then for the time being.
So let me make sure I got. Hopefully this is still okay. Are we seeing the
here? Okay.
Are we seeing the root right now?
We are seeing the Root Dragon.
All right, good.
We are seeing the Roots, the house band for the Jimmy Kimmel show.
All right, so here's
something. Jimmy Fallon. Sorry, not Jimmy Kimmel. Anyways, go ahead.
Right.
Yes, we're seeing the Root image.
All right, so now we have just like the little kind of symbol of the convention. You have this awesome back in the day they had like a giant Hulk that was on top of like the trophy the trophy case display, and I guess someone bought it, so they kind of lost that. So it was kind of cute that they had like, hey, here's like a something somewhat akin to that. We have a Spider-Man, and he's wearing a symbol of Baltimore. He is wearing a Baltimore Ravens hat,
Oh, nice, nice.
which I found quite cute and really personalized for like, hey, we brought the comics here. Anywho, so just kind of a set dressing sort of thing. There's not a
Mhm.
whole lot, not a whole lot of story there, but I will tell you this. So again, point being, I'm going, I'm going to the convention, and basically you're in kind of the big old line waiting there, and in all my preparation, there was one thing that was not available to me that was very key in our two big comic celebs: the place in which to find them and the times of which to see them. They were not available. And I looked at the big guide, the little guidebook they give you with the maps and information and everything you need. And when I did that, I was in action mode, my friend. Okay, because I wanted to plan this out. I wanted because I knew Jim Lee historically has huge lines. So
Mhm.
this is the line. Jim Lee and the guests for tomorrow historically they've been to the Baltimore Comic Con before, and they are known for having like maddening lines. And my God, did they live up to the hype? But we will get there. Point being, I go up to the information. Tiki, and this is one of your favorite parts of the Comic Con trip reports. So this year,
Oh yeah.
officially they are called the Minions. That is what is emblazoned on their shirts. They're colored shirts every year, and this year went back to the old familiar red shirts. Now I had a
Oh
new name for
no. Oh
I,
no. The return of the red shirt.
but I've given it an added twist just to
Oh
kind of like
god.
zhuzh it up a little bit. The Red Menace.
Oh Jesus Christ.
Because this year, Tiki, they were the Red Menace.
That bad.
That bad.
Oh man. Okay. Okay. Yeah,
So,
honestly, Dragon stories with these people, as you know, it's kind of like the bread and butter from my perspective of like how interesting these things can get.
of course, before they've been the movies, they've been the Minions, and of course they've been the Limeys, like they called them that one year they were in the green. So this year,
Uh-huh.
back to the Red Menace. So
Okay.
I see this, and I'm trying to nip this in the bud while I'm getting in line, so I can have someone hold my spot. So I go up, guys, I'm going to get some information here. I'll be right back. And I go there, and I'm going up to the Red Menace here, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe this. Hey guys, I was all business, man. I said, guys, we got a problem here. Looking in the guidebook, you're gonna have a lot of people here see Jim Lee. No one's gonna be able to find him. Tell me what I'm missing. Please tell me I'm wrong. Like, where's the
Uh-huh.
information? And let's just say there was no like I don't. They could have been a little bit more courteous in terms like, oh no, we it was very much like, oh, it's in there. Says, well, no, it's not in there. I combed through all these pages.
God.
I mean, please tell me I'm wrong, but show me where it is. And they tell me
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh no,
yeah.
it was online. Well, it was online. What? It's like, how is it not the average Joe coming in here? I think they'd like a refresher on where it's at if you're insisting on everyone having these books. I didn't say all this, but I was baffled and flummoxed by it. And I just like for
Does
simplicity,
Baltimore Comic Con have like a specific app by any chance?
app, no. Just well, I mean,
Okay,
there's like
yeah,
a
because I feel like if you have a con, you have like, or even if like I don't know, like is there any sort of like app Dragon? Like, please pray tell, because I don't know. Is there any sort of like app that you can use as like a convention tracker or something? Just
there's
like
like a there's a Facebook page to my knowledge, and
okay, and
possibly
that's
a
about
Twitter.
it.
I
And
don't
Facebook
know.
pages don't mean crap because
All I
Facebook.
know is there's always been a Facebook page in which they put the updates on, but is that in the convention website? But still, that's about it.
Yeah, that's not really like very handy sources. Like I feel like unless you have like an on-hand app, it's a little bit too much of an ask to go onto the actual site.
Are you ready
That's
for a
just me.
lesson in the class system, my friend?
Oh God. Oh, I don't
Okay,
think so. But go ahead.
you got three tiers, mainly two for the next day. But let's just say for Jim Lee, you had three tiers. You got platinum, you got gold, you got silver.
Hmm.
And basically, the idea is like multiple autographs. Basically, give you like the different tier. And what you buy in advance, and you're a big spender, you're gonna get a whole bunch of stuff signed. Which let's just say Jim Lee pricey autograph. The guy for Saturday, far more pricey autograph. Point being, so the idea is like these people are going to get priority, and they're going to get like signing times. Like, hey, and earlier in the convention, you guys
Ooh.
show up here at a certain time, and you're going to get in there. You're going to take care of them, and you get all signed, and because you get multiple items signed. So it sounds like, hey, if you paid for the exclusive package, you got like an email specifically to you informing you of the times and dates and stuff. But if you're like me in the silver lane, kind of the average just get this mustard. Okay, this is reasonable. I'm just gonna get one thing signed instead of several expensive things signed. You don't get you get bubkiss, you get squat. So that's how I learned. I had to take that information. I took a picture of the girl's phone. I could have looked it up online, but I wanted instant access to this thing, man. So I took a picture of it.
Right.
Then the next days, I wrote it all
blame you.
down. Yeah, that's the thing. I ain't, I'm not going through any of that. Plus, you guys, I still attest they goofed up on that one. How do you not put like the room he's gonna be in? So point being, my day is then reconstructed like, okay, Jim Lee, he's going to be here at 5 o'clock. And remember, Tiki, it's from 1 to 7, 5 o'clock. It's going to be a big line. So I'm going to get there like at 4:45 to 4:30 just to be standing there. Even I don't care if these guys clear. I'm already getting a bad vibe. These guys are not going to have any idea what they're doing. So even if it's going to be that thing where like, oh no, we're not standing anyone in line yet. I don't care. I'm going to linger. I'm going to loom. I'm just going to hover.
Right. Yeah.
That's kind of the mentality you kind of develop after a while in terms of the lines.
Like
there,
that one guy from The Watcher.
Yeah.
You know the guy I'm talking about, the teacher.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, in Dragon with the class system, it is funny because I do experience that with parks because, of course, you have the express passes, and Disney used to have them free, but now they don't, and so now it's just like it's one of those things where it's like, not only does the express pass like obviously have an element of classism to it where it's like you're getting more or less front of the line access, but the express pass and people getting into use the express pass is literally coming at the cost of moving people through the regular standby line, and just like the more people that are using the express pass, the worse the standby line is going to be. So yeah, I've definitely. It's funny because I went to 2 nights of Halloween Horror Nights on my Universal trip. Once I used the Express Pass, once I didn't, and yeah, it's definitely a pretty astronomical difference.
All right, so remember, Tiki, 4:45. Okay, that's when we're gonna check back into our Jim Lee story.
I'm already nervous.
So, second biggest objective, as per usual, Tom King. So I'm going in there. I'm like, okay, Tom King's gonna have a big line because he always has a big line. So I'm just gonna get in there.
Tommy
boy, indeed. So I'm going there. Tom King, of course, swell guy. I'm going there. And I heard a rumor of this, and there was a fear going into it. And I was prepared for both outcomes, but my hope of hopes was that then my second archenemy from all the cons previously reared their hatted heads.
Oh no.
Well, to be fair, they didn't wear hats, but I'm saying this thing's a logo you put on a hat, so they're kind of semi-hatted heads. The sketched art, they call it comic sketched art, but still, the comic sketch art people.
Okay, I remember you mentioning this, but you're going to have to give me like a brief refresher on it.
So all the big Batman talent, all the big DC Batman talent, they are represented by a company called Comic Sketch Art.
Okay, right. So these are basically like the handlers for the people.
Yeah. These are the handlers. Gotcha. These are the handlers and the money men, which are pretty much kids in t-shirts who are basically usually pretty girls in t-shirts. And the point being, so they're kind of the bearers of bad news, traditional. That's when you go to these tables and you see like a little sign that says, like the raw signature is just the average signature. Raw signature this much, or like 2 free followed by $5 a book, and then CGC is always it's like $10 because CGC is where people make their money back on comics and investments and so on and so forth. I won't bore you with the details. Point being, I never really go for the CGs. I just go for the raw because you have to have a witness, and that's a whole anyway. Point being, I heard a rumor that I looked into sketch art and just kind of seeing what the update was in Tom King, so I kind of prepared beforehand. My fears were confirmed. They pushed him into getting rid of the 2 freebies.
No!
Which, again, had not been that way at any of the years prior. It's like,
yeah, and this dude is basically like a house artist for Baltimore Comic-Con at this point, based on how you describe it.
Yeah, well, writer, but yes.
Right. Sorry.
Like he's there with his artist, who's Mitch Gerard, so like Mitch Gerald. So like they're buddies in there. Point being, yeah, they're the writer and the artist. They're both the same deal. Like no freebies.
Also, Dragon, just really quickly want to point out LEB in the comments who just says hi. And I like to think of it as like the one gag from from the SpongeBob episode where Patrick goes to boating school with him, and it's like hey SpongeBob, SpongeBob, SpongeBob.
Right.
Hi. So welcome on board, LEB. We hope you enjoy anxiety-inducing stories about comic conventions.
Yes, a mundane epic of Better Call Saul proportions.
Indeed.
So, point being, they've eliminated the freeze, which I heard, so I was kind of prepared for the to bite the bullet on that. But so I brought the most important stuff on day one, expecting, okay, if they're gonna do it, at least I'll get at least the minimum important stuff I can spring for. At least I'm willing to ultimately, so I can make sure I at least get most of my important Tom King stuff signed. But then the other blow is like Tom King's not there from the start. He's going to be there at 3:00, which of course
Oh no.
again, is bumping close to the Jim Lee thing.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I can relate to this in terms of like if I have like a dinner reservation or a fast pass reservation or something, and I really want to get on a ride, but it might be like it might be like the last opportunity I have to get on the ride. Oh, yeah, I feel the anxiety there, man.
So good news. Here's the delightful surprise, but a surprise I would have liked the heads up on. So good old Fabi Nicieza is there. And that's a great name. Fabi Nicieza is the creator.
That is a great name. Fabi Nicieza.
Mr. Nicieza. He is the co-creator of Deadpool. He's the other guy who was not Liefeld.
Ah, okay.
I've met him before. Lovely guy. I've written him a whole a big old thank you note for everything he's done with the character and creating him and such. So I've met him before, and this is so I'm going to meet him there, and I bring the four most important Nicieza books that I got, expecting last year. Last time I saw him there, the limit was basically the books are free with the exception of Deadpool because he was skyrocketing popularity. Deadpool 2 about to come out, it was like $10 per Deadpool book. If it had Deadpool, X-Men, or Cable in relation to it. So I was expecting, okay, it's going to be like a $40 sort of thing. So I go there, and then pleasant surprise, but a surprise that would have been nice to know ahead of time. He's there for the Hero Initiative. The Hero Initiative is the charity for the comic creators, like what happened with the whole thing.
Yeah.
Siegel and Schuster specifically, the comic creators who aren't getting the rights, because none of the creators really get rights for all the characters, and they get the movies and everything. Not traditionally, unless Marvel is really throwing him a bone in some cases. So, essentially, he's doing $1 a book.
Oh, that's
which is great.
Yeah,
but again, I would have on day one, had I known this, I would have brought all of my Nicieza stuff.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
But meeting them, really nice. He had some great tidbits there, and he was somewhat of a Capasic thing, by the way. In terms, I saw Nicieza. I ended up seeing Nicieza all 3 days, and he remembered me, which was rather nice.
There's a little bit of an arc there.
Little bit. The man who created, like Deadpool finally being realized the screen, and Capasic being there, and of course the man who brought Deadpool into existence in the first place. So it's kind of an inverted loop, if you will.
Nice.
So anyway, it informs me of some kind of Deadpool stuff I wasn't fully aware of, which is kind of cool. Is the fact of he had proposed a solo Deadpool series, but Marvel shot it down. Then Joe Kelly obviously had greater success with that. So Nicieza has technically never written Deadpool solo, which is fascinating.
That is interesting, yeah.
Okay, so let me tell you who the darling of ComicCon was. You want to hear who the darling of ComicCon was?
Who was the darling of Comic-Con?
Gene Luen Yang. This man was an utter delight. He's what I wished every artist and writer was while I was there. This guy's a writer, fantastic writer. He does the Avatar tie-in comics, the Avatar Last Airbender.
Oh, nice. Okay.
It's like Zuko, the big answer, what happened with Zuko's mom. That's him.
Mm-hmm.
So that and the big thing that he did, the main thing I was super excited. He was supposed to be there last year, but he had to cancel because his mother was sick. His mother has, I believe, the form of Alzheimer's or something. So he did Superman versus the KKK, or more so. Sorry, the book is called Superman Smashes the Klan, but it's based off the radio show, which is Superman versus the KKK, essentially.
That's actually a pretty fucking awesome idea for a book in this day and age.
And that's the thing. So
I hate the fact that concept is actually timely in 2022, but what are you going to do?
So that's the thing. He and I got to talking. He was so delightful and engaged. Like he thanked me for buying the books, man. That's a sign of a really that's a perfect experience right there. He's like, thank you so much for
Oh,
buying these books.
oh, that's nice.
So I brought a whole bunch of Gene Luen Yang stuff, pretty much all the Superman
Nice,
stuff on day
nice.
one. And he did two really nice things. We're kind of talking, and kind of like we're geeking out with each other over. Oh yeah, I mean, I was really attracted to this thing because the whole Superman fighting the Klan on the radio back in the day in the '50s. And he says, yeah, that's absolutely what I was going for. I was trying to adapt. I literally was adapting that idea into
Mhm.
comic form because it was always so cool, but it was never realized and so controversial at the time. And the thing is, like when that radio show
Oh my God.
happened,
I just realized we need to have Captain America fighting Hitler as a Marvel special presentation.
well, that would be great. I don't. Because given the way First Avenger works, I don't think that would necessarily happen, but that's an awesome idea.
Elseworlds, what the fuck ever.
Okay. Regardless. Yeah, he mentioned that Superman in basically that's radio show is so popular it discouraged KKK membership. It
Well,
basically
that would be the ultimate goal, right? That's
yeah.
great.
But I'm saying you had that, and you also had probably existing members who were like, "Oh man, now our kids are going to see us as
Mhm.
bad guys. We don't want that to happen." So they kind of like, that was isn't that delightful? Superman kind of like discouraging white supremacy, isn't that? Yeah, it's nice.
I mean, again, I hate that we have white supremacy in the first place. It's just icky that it's still around in this country at all. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's nice.
Now, let me tell you something. I learned a new term this year:
Oh no. Okay. What did you learn?
the remark.
I'm sorry. The what?
The remark.
The remark. Okay.
So mark spelled like like you've marked some. Well, it was kind of I think they spelled it in kind of a fancy way. The point being, it's when an artist or a writer signs something and they
Uh
do
huh.
a little doodle for you on the page.
Oh.
Now, I've had things in the past. Usually, if you bring them a graphic novel or a book, like not the comic per se, but if you bring them like the book that is the collection of the comics, they have a lot more room to work with, and they'll be
Mhm.
inclined to like draw like a little doodle or something to do a little special thing. And Gene Luen Yang did this for a whole bunch of stuff. Like every time he signed an Avatar book, he drew a little Appa, Superman drew a little S symbol, like really nice. Now, apparently, and here's why I know what the term was called. Some people on their little signs telling what their rates are, um, a remark is quite pricey, my friends.
Oh, god damn, that is
Like some people, $60.
60 fucking bucks for a little doodle? Are you kidding me?
It's crazy, right? And this
That's
is like just
insane.
something that was like
That's
an after.
literally insane.
Now, this is not to be fair or anything, but this is like, I mean, I think specifically it's like they'll do it on the comic versus just doing it in a book. But regardless, that's still no excuse to like charge that much for like a
Yeah,
little
no.
doodle. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And Tom
That
King has
is
kind of made a
literally like Bob Chapek level price gouging for the sake of price gouging.
apparently it's just because it was just kind of like done on the fly as like a freebie thing people used to do, and people are again just trying to price gouge. Is like again, I blame the representation on these guys. They're like, no, you gotta get nickel and dime more, so we're gonna
That
charge them when you do
yeah,
that.
that totally sounds huh, for sure. Doesn't make it any less frustrating,
The
but yeah.
fun thing is that Tom King has made a mockery of this by he does an I'm sorry drawing. It's the same thing as a remark, but he basically does a terrible drawing and like for the signature page, but and it's just at least making fun of it, like trying to discourage people from doing it. It seems like he does like stick figure drawings, so it's really
Uh-huh.
because he's a writer, he's not an artist.
Right, yeah.
All right, so Gene Luen Yang, just best experience of the cons, and then we get to one of the special guests this year. We have Jill Thompson, who I've been eager to meet because she is the creator of Scary Godmother, which is like a
Oh, okay.
Halloween
Cool,
special.
cool. Yeah,
You know,
for sure.
yeah, so it's got an existing comic, which then because I believe Jill Thompson was a school teacher, or at least did plays and stuff with
That
school
sounds right.
children.
Yeah.
And she kind of bridged in the comics and she created the Scary Godmother as a black and white comic, and then essentially got adapted into an animated special, which I love on an annual basis with my grandmother. And so I brought the DVD cases of those specials and like two Scary Godmother comics that I did have and got them signed. And she was quite the interesting experience. So there we go, a little visual there. So this is really cool. She did a Kickstarter or something for merchandise for Scary Godmother. This is like a
Nice,
backpack
nice.
plushie of a Bugaboo, who's kind of Sully esque from
Uh-huh.
Scary Godmother. And then you have Scary Godmother herself is like a full-on like articulating doll, which is really impressive. I mean, this thing's very, very impressively made, and she has all these little things here in the corner. It's like boxes of her, and that's the box she comes in. Anyway, so yeah, Jill Thompson, man, she was one of the cancellations from the previous year with Jean Lewin Yang, and I was like bummed out by it, which I should mention too. The cancellation that broke my heart this year. There were two people I
Oh
was
no.
really looking forward to seeing who were canceled ahead of time. Brian Michael Bendis, but that's not the heartbreaking one. I was looking forward to seeing him for like a year or two now. Like, he canceled twice, and this year was supposed to be John Romita Jr.
Oh God.
That one hurt me.
Yeah,
Because
I can imagine.
I have one comic in particular I'm dying from the sign, and I have things signed by Romita Jr., but I was never able to meet him in person. My father got them signed. I had to go somewhere else.
Uh-huh.
And the point being, John Romita Jr., I'm dying from the sign my 9/11 issue of Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, totally,
It's like the
totally.
most emotional, influential, like one of the best comics ever made. And I just want him to sign it, but he's not. He keeps canceling. Anyway, regardless, so Jill Thompson, so she, I was delighted to meet her because I was going to tell her about the whole. My grandma and I, we love the special, watch it every year. But my grandma really loves this thing particularly. I don't, it's like I guess it's like the simplistic charm of it. I don't know. It's really cool.
No, it is iconic for a big subset of folks. I didn't really ever latch onto it myself, but I could see like, it's one of those things where I feel like I just feel like by the time it came out, I was probably aged out a bit. But if you grew up with it, I could see it being as iconic as, some of the stuff that we go on about.
The thing that really impressed me, she kind of dropped a factoid on me I never knew about. She told me in the making of the first special, it was based on the school play that she concocted, and that's why the first special has like kind of sections in it that feels like a school play, which is really
Uh-huh.
interesting. So anyway, so I was a little nervous because I think the guy at the table, I don't know if I somehow squirmed past him or if I misheard him through the mask we were both wearing. Just the fact that it sounded like he said this many items, $5, which I was like
Oh.
initially I was really, but I think I was able to get him signed for nothing. I don't know if either it was just got like this guy was just checked out completely and didn't bother with it, or
Right, right.
I had like under 5 items. I don't know if he meant like 5 items for $5 or not, because I had like four things. And regardless, I think he just said fine. I think he says, oh, that's fine. Maybe
Uh-huh.
instead of saying that's five. So anyway, the reason she was the guest of honor is they every year at the Comic Con they try to push this yearbook on you. So the idea is if you had nothing to sign, you could get a bunch of like almost all the artists, not all the biggies, but at least the majority of the artists who are like achievable to meet and everything. You can get them to sign your yearbook of like they did a sketch of a character for the Comic Con that is picked. Like one year was Spawn, one year it's like a crab mascot for Maryland, and this year it was Scary Godmother because the con was at Halloween.
Nice.
So like all these arts through renditions of Scary Godmother, which I congratulated her for that. And again, she signed the DVD, told her all bad. And she loved what I was wearing. She initially thought she saw my belt and she saw the badge. She thought it was a cop, and she went into a story about like having kind of had that encounter before where she's had like she's kind of seen like she's kind of mistaken. Wonder if a cop was like in cosplay or not.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, so let's see. So going into this, I had two shopping goals of two things I was determined to buy this Comic Con. The my dream comic on the DC side. Because I already bought my dream Marvel comic, which at least a year or so back was Amazing Spider-Man number 50. The Kingpin issue as well as Spider-Man No More,
Sure, sure,
which
sure.
I have, and I'm very delighted to have. The other one on the DC side I've been looking for. Not nearly as hard or expensive to find, but still, you have to find it. Detective Comics number 439, which has, for my money, the best Batman story ever written in it. So I was determined to get my hands on it because I had like in trade, but I'd like to say I own the book.
Mhm.
So I've been keeping an eye out for that. So pretty much all the shopping in day one is scouting. So I'm scouting for that. I'm scouting for specific Legos, particularly She-Hulk, the new Daredevil costume, Falcon Cap, and Captain Carter.
That's an admirable bunch right there.
Uh,
That's respectable.
Amongst some others, but let's just say I was not as lucky finding the others. So, but those are some I was keeping an eye out for. I was looking for some like the Sakaran Iron Man Hulkbuster armor and like the Hydra Stomper, for example. But I'm thinking next year is when you're going to get the majority of those, regardless. So then, just around about Al Milgrom was there. Al Milgrom's like a Spider-Man writer and artist, and the big thing he did was he did the Black Cat Spider-Man relationship in comics. That was his big claim to fame. And I got the comic signed, in which it was a famous moment for Spider-Man where he unmasked himself in front of Black Cat, and she's turned off by the fact that he's Peter Parker.
That's funny.
So I got that signed. That was like a big, we got to talking about that. Now here's the problem. Here's where things are going to relight the fire for you, buddy. So
yeah, because in the back of my mind, I'm thinking this is a lot of stuff that you're doing, and you got to get back at 4:45. That 4:45.
Well, no, not yes, but remember, I got to get back at 3 for Tom King first.
Oh, right, yeah, that too, of course.
That's the thing. So I'm in Al Milgram's line. He's got a little bit of a line. It's one of those things where you get everything set up, and you're on one side wondering, and then you kind of wait a minute. The line's on the other side of this guy.
Oh yeah.
So I had that happen, which was not great. And this is now the time is ticking down very close to 3:00, and my hope was to get back there like at 2:30, so I can at least get a good spot in line for Tom King. And Al Milgrom is chatting with this guy, and he's doing a sketch at the same time. And let's face it, Al Milgrom, really cool, not a spring chicken.
Right, yeah.
So it's taking him a bit, and he's getting chatted up by people going, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" It's like, and I'm all for like pleasantries, but still, it's like I'm like next in line, and there's like a whole and I got a bit of a time.
Always a double-edged sword I hear with cons with these types of people, where it's like, because they're actually going to give you the time of day when they get up there, but at the same time, it's obviously a crowd control thing.
Yeah, I mean, the problem for me more so was the fact is people are probably buying sketches, which is not helping time things because he's got to take down the information and everything. But I'm saying like a random guy who shows up and it's a cute exchange. Like he's introducing his daughter to him and everything. He's like, hey, because this guy got a commission in advance and he's checking on. He says, oh, isn't she cute? What's her name? He's like, Al, this is great, but I gotta go, man. Come on. It's like a really sincerely sincerely exchange, but this is not helping me right now. All right, so point being, I get Al Milgrom done, then I'm rushing off to the Tom King line, which unfortunately is closer to 3 than I'd like it to be, and the line has formed. And now I'm not really as far ahead of line as I'd like to be. So now the heat is on, my friend, because it's 3:00, and well, at least it's 3 or maybe a little past 3, which is not good. And Jim Lee's at 4:45, and I got to be at Jim Lee by 4:45. That's like outside the convention hall and like on the top floor. That's a long walk.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So this is not ideal. So I'm in line. I'm waiting. Thankfully, I have some waiting buddies here. Let's see who we got. Oh, let me mention this guy real quick.
Okay.
Okay, this guy, very intimidating, very, very freaky. This guy, I believe, is the Crow meets a Sith Lord.
Nice.
And he was in character. So if you said, "Hey man, can I get a picture?" He has like almost like a Inigo Montoya thing going on, where he walks up to you saying, "I can't remember the specifics, but essentially he's like, you basically he kind of says no, but he encourages you to take the picture, but it's really off-putting."
I was going to say, this guy seems like the kind of guy who would be visually intimidating, but an absolute sweetheart if he actually talk to you.
Not the case. No,
That's funny. That's funny.
He just walks up to you and he says like some kind of monologue sort of line, like, yeah, you're about to die sort of thing. He's walking. I'm kind of weirded up. Okay. So take a picture. Anyway, so in line, this guy. Do you recognize this guy at all? He bears somewhat of a resemblance to anyone you might recognize from watching recently.
Is it? It's not like young Nick Cage, is it?
No, not Nick Cage. No, it's a character, Tiki. A character you saw in a show recently.
Who is it?
It's Dream from the Sandman.
Oh, by the way, Dragon, we just got a season 2 confirmation here.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I'm stoked about that. But yeah, okay, that was going to be my second guess. But nice.
So Dream here was my line buddy, and he was holding my spot as I went to Francis Manipool, who was kind of behind us. While I was trying to multitask and get something done.
Mm-hmm.
Now, not ideal. Francis Manipool is a very gifted artist. I had a few things from the sign. Unfortunately, $5 a book, not my preference, but everyone's charging me this year. It's like it's just crazy. Point being, Maniple is doing sketches, which is not ideal. Well, now I'm paranoid about this line, so I can get to the Jim Lee lines. Nothing but lines, man. It's like escalator land.
Yeah, that's what conventions sound like to me, Dragon. Frankly.
I mean, this year in particular, more to be fair, conventions are pretty much all. Here's the thing: I looked at the panels in advance. The panels were not. I faced. Here's where the existential thing comes into play. I had an existential, somewhat of a breakthrough with the panels at the con, where I think I somewhat have outgrown them because a majority of them are like, "Hey, you like these people? I know I like these people. Why would I sit in a room to be told you like this stuff?"
Right.
It just kind of dawned on you in terms of like, I mean, let's just say the guest did not fully like inspire me to, oh man, I have to spend more time with with these guests and like kind of like be in the room full of adulation and factoids and stuff, where it's like it was that, and there was a number of kind of funerals for the folks that have passed because so many comic talents have passed. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I want to be there, but I really don't have the time. I'm going to a room to be sad and be told like these guys are important. Or I'm going to a room to be told you should. This is why you love these things.
Right.
And
Yeah.
when I'm wall to wall on lines. And I'm opting to go with the two busiest guests they're going to have at Comic Con this year. I don't have time for it, so I had to abandon kind of the fun things to do at Comic Con besides the lines, which are not fun. Anyway, so I'm going to Maniple. Maniple is basically, I'm like, there's not a line at all for Maniple. The problem is that Maniple is doing a sketch, which is taking forever. While the other line is kind of like, again, I don't want to leave Dream hanging here.
Sure.
Yeah, he's been waiting long. He's been waiting for centuries in that little bubble. I don't want to keep him waiting any longer. Anyway, so then I go back in the line after I get stuff signed by Maniple, and then I had the stupid could have had a V8 moment where I was looking through his art and I realized, oh no, he did one of the issues on American Alien, the Max Landis Superman comic, which I did not bring. It's the one thing I didn't bring. So I had to see Maniple again on one of the other days.
Oh God, Dragon! Oh man, what are you doing? I could never do this stuff. This will give me a fucking heart attack.
And I had to dig through boxes, which I had
so
many boxes laid out. Anyway, so let's see. Point blank, back in the Tom King line. I made a friend aside from Dream here. I made a buddy. Gary. Yeah, this is Gary and his lady friend, Spider-Man and Firestar from Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
Nice.
This technically that makes me Iceman, but let's not get over semantics right now. The point being, he basically this is like my boyhood dream come true in a sense, where Spider-Man loves Batman the Animated Series, where essentially this guy is a huge Batman the Animated Series fan.
Oh my God!
And he saw everything.
You're like, that is your uber specific boyhood dream come true. Just nerding out with Spider-Man about Batman the Animated Series.
I mean, as a kid, I just always thought Batman and Spider-Man would be friends, so I kind of like that. I always loved the idea. So Batman and Spider-Man being my favorites, being, oh man, wouldn't it be nice if you could? Plus, the two animated series were so indoctrinated me if they could somehow cross over in some sense. So this is kind of like a little removed from that, but it's like this guy saw the Batman the Animated Series things. I was back then when I asked for his picture, and we just kind of basically became best friends. Yeah, I got an email and everything. I was afraid because I think he had like the wrong letter capitalized. It was like, oh man, after I met this guy, oh no, what if I have to assume he's gonna be smart enough that if it doesn't send, he'll send it with the correct like letter alteration, right? So a little bit of paranoia there. But we'll dip back into the Gary story later. Point being, so I'm in line. I finally get up to Tom King. I see him like do like the doodle thing for the guy ahead of me, where he's drawing like a stick figure of Adam Strange, which is just hilariously pathetic, and this is a lot of jokes. So Tom King was delightful. Okay, so and again, the clock is ticking majorly by the time I get up to the Tom King line, because it's like, okay, I gotta run after I meet Tom King.
Right.
Get up there in place for the Jim Lee line. So that I do. And so I rush up back to the level, basically like around the corner from where I was standing in line to get into the convention. They walk it down the escalator and everything, and I go up there. So I'm second in line for the silvers, but a horrible sight is there to greet me.
Oh no!
Tiki, the red menace struck again. and they struck hard.
Oh God. Oh God.
The biggest foul up you've ever seen in your life as far as like line control goes. Well, I mean, you've probably seen worse, but let's just say for me.
No, tell me, because yeah, I have a thing or two to say about line control, but I'm curious.
Okay, so get ready for a yarn, my friend.
Okay.
So I'm there. Oddly, on both days, I ended up being like second in line for the silver. So I actually timed it. I've timed my arrival rather well, ultimately, on both of these days. But unfortunately, the fates were conspiring against me, and those fates were wearing red T-shirts. So I show up there, and there's a bunch of people.
Oh God, Dragon! I can see a red T-shirt in the background. Is that one of them?
Yeah, see that? Okay, see in the background. Okay, can you see me circling, or is it?
Yes.
Okay, these guys, particularly this one there, that's a red menace.
Oh God. Okay.
At least, at the very least, I'm sure she might. For all I know, she would. I think these guys have probably had the easiest job of the bunch, but still, I do have a red menace encounter with one of them. Might have been a handler, might have been a red menace. But point being, these guys, they're everywhere. Anyway, so
Dragon, we should really just like make a horror movie set in a convention about these guys. Seriously.
Yeah. Imagine like Diedrich Bader from Jay and Silent Bob reboot. Only he's like the lead of a horror movie.
Oh my God.
Anyway, so I get up there and I see a whole bunch of people before me. I'm thinking, oh man, it's just gonna be I didn't time it out right well enough, and I come to learn, oh no, just the one person in front of you is the silver. Everyone else is the gold.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a little perplexed by this because again, wait a minute, the platinum people showed up at one time for like an hour to like it's like a 2 hour block.
Right. At least that's how they said they were going to do it. Yeah.
Then from like 1 to 3, you have these people. I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's like these people are. My assumption is that okay, Jim Lee's in that room right now, and he said they're cycling through right now, right? And there's like these people are like the tail off, and they're just going to like take them in big groups. That was the optimistic hope. But no, just Jim Lee was either the line was just so massive with all these gold people, it just took that long, and they are still not in that room yet. But again, there's still like a far removed time here. It's like, okay, from this time to this time, that's all the gold people.
Uh-huh.
And yet so we're still basically we should be going in there like at the stroke of, I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm here early. It's like 15 minutes. So maybe they'll suck through the gold people like by 15 minutes. And they probably carry over. So 5 o'clock rolls around. The guy should be walking in there by like 5:10. Like after, like, honestly, should be there in 5. It's be like the first 2 guys go in there. It's like, okay, first guy, then this guy. Okay, we're gonna keep going. So I'm in line with some. I met some nice people in line, like some I believe some Air Force guys, like a lot of military personnel. I was kind of hanging out with, like veterans and Marine. Well,
yeah.
One guy was a Marine on the next day. We'll get to. But the point being, mainly some Air Force guys on this day, and we're chatting. We're just kind of keeping each other company and stuff, and like talking like geeky stuff as we are wont to do. Like I kind of rock their world with pitches and stuff and all that. Like I'm telling them like, no, man, let me tell you what that Joker 2 movie should be.
Oh no! Oh God!
Something like that. Anyway, so
because that was the crowd that you were playing to, was the Joker crowd.
Well, honestly, I don't know. In general,
I'm just kidding.
Like we're talking about, like, man, how should Doctor Doom be represented in the MCU? Stuff like that, Like we're talking. Anyway, so I'm supposed to go. We're supposed to be in there at 5 because I was advertised and put on the thing that wasn't on the brochure but was put online.
Yeah,
Supposed to be in there at 5. I didn't get through the door, not up to him, but not through the door until 6:45 or 6:40.
Oh, fuck me. Oh, no.
And Tiki, I want you to remember, the con on day 1 ends at 7.
Yeah.
It's literally like the scene from A Christmas Story where it's like the mall, the department store closes in 5 minutes. And there's still like a big old line. My heart sinks for those poor people behind me. If I was the second in line, I didn't get there until 6:45. Imagine like the lengthy line of the average Joe who just got one thing signed behind me.
Mm-hmm.
Also, there's one thing. One of the guys in line had a cursed item to get signed by Jim Lee. The cursed item was essentially they had this thing that got recalled. It was a poster that lights up of all the different Green Lantern colors that he drew, and it's cursed because it was recalled because it in comic shops, it was displayed for people to buy, and when it was lit up as a display model, they kept it in an unventilated area next to comic boxes, which essentially are like kindling to a fire, and
Ooh.
like it burned down 2 comic shops.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, damn.
So that's the thing. So this literally is a curse that we were joking. Well, if anything happens to Jim Lee, we know who did it.
So, Dragon, you got Ellie on board with the story. She says, this is some intense line waiting.
That's what I'm telling you, man. It's like if Christopher Nolan made the movie for Escalator Land, this is what it would be.
Oh, my God.
Anyway, yes. So I finally get up to Jim Lee, and I'm incensed at this point because I didn't tell you the best. I didn't tell you the worst part yet, and how the Red Menace just struck again, like with a sledgehammer to the already cracked ice. So I'm at the doors, man. I'm about to go in, and guess what happens?
What? Oh, God.
The Red Menace walks up. He says, "Sorry, guys," and 15 gold people go in before us.
Oh, what the fuck? Oh,
Again,
no.
I'm ticked
Oh,
off because
no.
you guys had your time. This is far beyond that time. You just accept your loss, all right? Why should we all? I wanted to say this, but I didn't want to get kicked out of line. I just wanted to go off on them. So,
Oh, I would be freaking out, dude.
So that's what I'm saying. This is like, let's say that's at like 6:40 or whatnot, a little bit before the 6:45. And when I finally get in the room, and then it's like, okay, just I want to get in there. Plus, I have to walk to the pickup area in enough time to get there, which is like I'm expecting my ride at 7:00. So this is the tension is on.
Oh, God. Oh, jeez.
So it's either at 6:45 or it's very nearly close to 6:45, which is my bolting time essentially.
Uh-huh.
So we get up there, Jim Lee, and I'm hearing like a guy say, "You think Jim Lee's taking pictures?" And I said, "Oh, he's taking pictures."
Oh, God.
I said that, and like I think I scared. He wasn't one. Technically, he wasn't one of the Red Menaces, but he was like a handler, so he's kind of by marriage, like a Red Menace.
Uh-huh.
So he was intimidated by me. He said, "Oh wow, this guy's he's taking pictures." So yeah, I got some pictures with Jim Lee after he signed the thing. Told him love the work, love this, and it wasn't really got the GCPD badge in there. So the point is, I was decked out in some Batman for Jim Lee, and I left. And that was day one.
Did you make it to your ride?
Yes, I did. I mean, honestly,
Okay,
I made
good.
it there early because I don't necessarily. Again, day one, you got energy to burn. I'm not really known for being a slow walker, especially at a con.
Right.
So that's day one. Let me say this. Let's dress the set here. Day two, Saturday. Okay. Starting the day off right. You got Captain America in line to greet you. That's a nice day. That's a nice way to start things.
Was he really just like at the door, just like, "Hey guys, I'm here"?
I mean, he was like, this is like, if you look here, this is like towards the very front of the line. So he's relatively the greeter there. He's like, "Hey, that's man, funny. Can I get a picture?" So I stayed up far too late than I should have. So I got barely any sleep. I should mention that the night before. And I had to type up because again, I was so at the last minute because of factors at play here. So the big objective, I mean, huge objective, my friend, the biggest objective of this year, I bit the bullet. I just decided to see the really expensive guy. It's been the previous cons. I've always said he's too expensive to see, but you know what? He's getting up there. We've lost all this comic talent. If I'm going to see him, I got to see him this year. Frank Miller.
Oh, yes. Oh, I was hoping that would be him. Okay, Dragon. It's Miller time, baby.
It's Miller time. So finally, I bit the bullet. It's $100 per signature.
Okay, I could just picture you like just dramatically in your hotel room, just like pulling out the stopwatch, like it's Miller time.
Yeah, no hotel room, my friend, but yes, the hotel would be far faster to get to the ComicCon. But so I mean, I'm writing him the ultimate thank you letter because it's like, okay, I gotta. There's so much you can thank Frank Miller for. I gotta thank him. Predominantly, in my thank you letter, it was for basically what he did for Jim Gordon, because of course Commissioner Gordon does not have the layers of the complexity he has with that Year One or Dark Knight Returns. Like for example, Batman the Animated Series, Gordon looks like he does in Dark Knight Returns. You don't have that.
Totally.
Obviously, and also for Daredevil, we don't have the Daredevil show without Frank Miller. So I kind of limited to those two things specifically, and just kind of laid it out kind of in a hopefully eloquent, kind of grateful manner.
You mean you didn't thank him for All-Star Batman and Robin?
I neglected to leave that out. I said there were a lot of things at the front of the letter. I said, look, I'm sure there's so many things I could thank you for. I'm going to focus to these two things.
Dragon, I would legitimately write him a letter thanking him for how much joy I've gotten out of All-Star Batman and Robin.
So I bit the $100 bullet for this guy.
Okay, now $100. What does that buy you exactly? That buys you like a meet and greet. Does it buy you like a picture?
It doesn't get Tiki. It only gets you the signature.
Oh God. Okay.
That's the thing. He didn't do pictures, man. That's one thing I couldn't bully my way into. No. There's no pictures of Frank Miller. But I'll get into the reasons why later. So, the Red Menace,
Can
obviously.
Someone just do like a Bully Maguire meme, but with Dragon's avatar on top of Toby's face?
All right, so the Red Menace, for obvious reasons from yesterday, had me very nervous. Had me very worried for how Frank Miller, who again, Frank Miller's the man who inspired Jim Lee. If that guy's there,
right, yeah, exactly, yeah.
Like John Byrne and Frank Miller were Jim Lee's heroes, and if that guy's there, and then of course I have to assume like all those people got. All those poor people had to like get money back or something, which I've heard. Like if you don't meet your guy there and you get the money back, it's an arduous process because they're going to try and fight you tooth and nail and get your money back on that sort of thing.
I imagine, yeah.
And plus, I wasn't able because the Jim Lee thing took so freaking long. I was hoping to get back on the floor that day to get like the last two people I needed to get on my list. I had bumps from Friday in terms of like people I would try to get autographs from I could not get because they were only there later during the Jim Lee time. So I have to add them to my workload for today. I was hoping to get as much done Friday as I could. So, yeah, that. So day 2, I'm wearing my Better Call Murdoch shirt because Better Call Saul had ended. Frank Miller's going to be there. Marriage of my 2 favorite shows.
Of course.
All right. So, and today I remembered to bring the dreaded top loader. Now you got to remember, T, in terms of my decline, you got 2 things at play. You got you have your feet. And for me, the one that's more detrimental than the feet, honestly, because I'll just pass out at the end of the day after Halloween, essentially. But the right hand, that's because what happens is when you have a roller bag, it has all the stuff in there. Like kind of a roller bag kind of organizes everything nice and neatly and everything. That's a way you can carry everything without like basically putting a comic box on a dolly cart, which I don't know how those people do that.
Right, yeah.
So essentially, by gripping this thing and bringing it everywhere, and the sweat and everything is between everything that's going on, and the hours. Remember, I don't eat or drink or anything during this thing too, so there's a bit of a physical wear and tear on you.
I can relate with theme parks, like unless it's a theme park like Epcot, where it's like I'm specifically going there to eat. Like a lot of times with regional parks that aren't like Disney or even like a Universal, I'll like literally just wait until after I get out of the park to get something to eat. So yeah, I can relate there.
Basically, what I'm doing is like in the morning, I was able to grab lunch beforehand on day 1 because that was like a later in the day sort of thing.
Sure, yeah.
Day 2, on Sunday I got donuts, which was delightful. Saturday I'm cramming oatmeal cookies, man. I'm just trying like.
Oh yeah, I've been there. Yeah,
like before I go because
anything to get something in your stomach.
I don't eat for 2 reasons at Comic-Con. 1, because again I have no time. There's simply no time.
And then I'm willing to guess the second reason has something to do with money.
Yes, 2 is like the most overpriced food in your life is the food doesn't even look that appetizing if you ask me. That is served at Comic-Con. Like
yeah, I can imagine.
They have like little ice cream dots. It's about the only appetizing thing for me, and maybe a pretzel or like a churro. But anyway, they have the pretzel. They have the soft pretzel, and they have the churro. Anyway, the Oreo churro too.
Dare I ask how much a churro is? Do you know? Do you have the price?
I can tell you how much a soda and a soft pretzel is.
Like a combo that gives you a soda and a pretzel?
No, I just mean you buy a soda and you buy the pretzel.
Oh, okay. Tell me. Wait. Hold on. Let's play a little Prices Right out of this, really quick. A little Prices Right interlude. Soda, I'm gonna say $4.50.
Okay.
And then the pretzel, I'm gonna say $7.
I believe it was 8 something for both. I mean, well, no, sorry. I mean, together was $8, which is still ridiculous to pay for that.
That no, I hate to say it, but that actually is pretty on point. Like a soda, yeah, that's about
I
on
mean,
point for
$4.
actually
Well,
pay
it's
for
not
that.
even like when I say soda, I mean literally a can of Coke, $4.
Oh, that's a bit of. Oh, that's fuck that.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
mean.
yeah. At least with theme parks, you're getting like a 20-ounce cup with
Yeah,
ice and everything.
I
Yeah.
just mean $4 for a soda that's like in either in a little fridge or it's in a cooler or something. I don't know. It's
Oh
like
God, no.
not a cooler, but they have it like behind where the refrigerated drinks are. I believe. Anyway, point being, they're never good food at Comic-Con, kids. Okay, so I bring the top loader. So again, it's my right hand starting to show some wear and tear, like kind of blistering, sort of like not full on blisters, but it feels like blisters,
right, yeah.
which is like the worst feeling. Plus, to get the line going down, I have to carry. I can't use the escalator going down when I first enter the con. I gotta carry that heavy thing
Oh God.
in the chafed hand.
Uh-huh.
So my
Oh
buddies
man.
are. I have 2 buddies joining me on day 2. My two
Oh,
buddies
okay,
there.
okay, good. So at least you got help this time. All right.
Fortunately, I had the messenger of them tickets. In terms, I have to ask a guy to hold my spot in line as I'm running the tickets out to him,
Uh-huh.
and running back and forth a few times there. And so I coordinate now, having a lay of the land on day 1. I'm coordinating with my buddies. I'm like, okay, guys, here's the plan. All right. By all means, I know you guys are going to go to Artist Alley and you're going to explore. Because my friends are pretty much all artists. They love, they do love that sort of stuff. The point being, they love Artist Alley.
Cool.
They're going to explore the landscape. But basically, Artist Alley and kind of I call it Anime Alley personally,
Uh-huh.
or Anime Town, like kind of like Chinatown, but it's Anime Town.
Face it, Jake. This is Anime Town.
Yeah. So so basically the game plan is, guys, I'm gonna need your help because pretty much, because unfortunately fortunately and kind of mostly unfortunately, Tom King's not doing the freebie, so I got all the Tom King stuff done. But there's only one guy I have, Lee Week, so was not able to see Friday, who does 2 freebies before he charges. So he actually sticking with, because he has a sequential, who also are price gouging for my taste. But again, the fact he's still doing the 2 freebies, so I'm not complaining. So the plan is simple. We do every year. I distribute some books to my buddies. They get 2 signed. End up getting 6 books signed. Then I'll probably hit Lee Weeks tomorrow when I have one other person going with me, and it'll be at least it's something. So the main plan is, I'm telling one of my buddies, okay, I'm going to entrust you with my little Frank Miller pass here. I'm going to have you stand in that line. I don't care what these Red Menace guys tell you. You're gonna hover. You're gonna wait there. We're just gonna you gotta beat the lines again. In the back of my mind, I'm fearing the gold thing's gonna happen all over again. But I still just got to get to the front of that line and hope for the best. So I was like, at a certain time, I want you there. Then I will relieve you of command as soon as I can get up there. So that's the plan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's see. So we go down there and let's see what are the cosplays. Oh, okay, we have some nice cosplays on the floor here. We got Falcon Cap and
That's
Captain
awesome.
Carter.
That's nice.
So yeah, remember, Saturday is the cosplay contest. So you have pretty
Cool.
much all the best costumes are on day 2. The adult costume contest and the kids costume contest is Sunday. That's how that works.
Dragon, I didn't show you my my Halloween costume, did I?
No. You can show me after.
I'm gonna pull it up really quick. Not now, but like
sure.
in a time where I don't know, just so I can get in on this a little bit.
Yeah,
I want to
sure.
participate, seeing all these costumes, anyways.
Yeah. So you got Falcon Cap here, and you got Peggy Carter, Captain Carter. Then we have, let's see, little Matt Murdock action.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna keep that up there for a bit here. So yeah, so let me tell you this, Tiki. Day 2 was a real kick below the belt.
No, really?
Something bad happened.
Dragon, it started off so well.
So before Matt Murdock lifts my spirits here.
Okay, hold on. Before you get to that, let me just do my stupid little show and tell for my Halloween costume. All right.
Can you shift it? Because I'm locked in here. I can't see anything.
Yeah, I can shift it. Hold on. So, Dragon, my 2022 has been a little bit of an arc, and as you know, there was a bit of a substantial shift that happened in my personal geek culture arc around the time of D23.
Mm-hmm.
And so because of that, can you see it, or do I have to just
No,
describe it?
I can see it now. I got out of the thing. I can see it.
Okay, so basically this is I am an escaped Disney cultist.
Oh my god.
And Mickey's come to bring me back, Dragon. You're not getting away from the cult that easy. Oh.
Isn't that Minnie?
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. You're right. It is Minnie. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, you know, unless Mickey is dressing as Minnie for Halloween.
I can wear a bow, god damn it!
What's the shirt?
You Dragon box me into one gender. All right.
What's the shirt?
The shirt is just a Mickey in zombie mouse.
Okay.
Yeah. The hat has a bunch of pins on it. Bathrobe, of course. Anyways, yeah, fun times.
Why the bathrobe? Okay. How was that scream cultist?
Bathrobe? That a lot of cults wear.
Well, no, that's more like that's like a white robe though. This is like a bathrobe. That's
that's what. It's the closest thing I had to a white robe. All right, that's
all right.
It's a robe.
Okay.
Okay. All right. We hope you enjoyed that brief little interlude. All right, back to the main story.
Okay, am I locked in again?
Yes.
All right, good. Just making sure. All right, because now I can't see. All right. Okay, so before we get to the pick me up with Daredevil here, let me tell you, it's the cushion the blow. So Lee Weeks, ordinarily really cool guy, cool artist. You know, I mean, the guy draws like David Mazzucchelli in terms. That's the best way I can describe his style. So this guy looks great. He has a great art style, and you know, I've gotten multiple things signed by him in the past before. He didn't even have like a book limit before. It was all good. Cool guy. So I go up to him and I have like the bad omen to start the day.
Oh God.
Where he's doing like a kind of a beautiful looking sketch. I think of the Hulk. Well, no, Hulk was like the other day. So he's doing a sketch for somebody. He's chatting him up. So it was like one guy in front of us. And three of us, I've distributed the comics and I'm waiting. I'm starting to feel some wear and tear from the previous day a little bit. But that's just why that's a waiting thing. It's like, okay, that's fine. I mean, I'm maintaining that, but my one buddy wants to get something to eat, which I cautioned him against, but he says, no, I got to get a drink. He's like, no, buddy, you really don't want to do that. But he's just, so he wants
$4 soda cans, man. Not worth it.
So I didn't know what the food situation pricing was till Sunday when my other companion got some food. But again, I warned him against that in advance. So regardless, so my buddy already wants to get out of line. I was like, okay, well, look, that just after this, then we'll diversify and all that sort of stuff. So I'm waiting, and then we go up there. I send him up first because this is my big mistake here. I send him up first so he can get his stuff signed. And again, my buddies are artists, so there's a sympathy there, and there's a love for the art world. And I told him to check out his work. He's really cool. So he's like, oh yeah, this is really good. Anyway, so Lee Weeks chats him up about the book that he's getting signed, and he has not read this book. and he's basically says, oh no, I'm just getting this signed for a friend.
Mm-hmm.
And then my other buddy goes up there and he says, oh yeah, signed for a friend too. He says,
oh no,
where's this friend? And I am outed.
Oh no! Oh and God!
Tiki, in like over 10 years, this is the only time this has ever happened.
Oh man!
Lee Weeks, you would have been crying in a fetal position, my friend.
Oh, I would have. You know me, yeah.
Lee Weeks
hate confrontation.
He gets a little incensed with me. Now, here's the thing. He's not being mean, but he's being like, he feels like a guy's been kicked around on this sort of thing, which I disagree with. But it's the fact that he's saying, well, that doesn't help me really, though. I said, well, wait, how does that not help you? And he says, well, this is why people get charged $5. It's like, the whole, which I'm flummoxed by. Like, what do you mean? It's like, it's that I wanted to say, no, that's your representation that's charging you $5 to get you more money so they can get like 10% off the top. That's why it's being charged. I don't say that because I want to be respectful, but it's just the whole it's just the fact of like I'm made to look like the bad guy.
That sucks. Oh God.
I love Lee Weeks' art and everything.
Yeah,
I'm made to look like a bad guy here to them. He says, yeah, it's not they're telling me like I said, guys, I'm so sorry that happened.
That'd be like if Bob Gurr or someone called me out for being an asshole. I'm like, oh no, Bob, you don't understand.
That's the thing. It's like I had no idea it was like that was that big a deal. If like, well, I mean, they didn't have books to get signed. I mean, they're still the books are getting signed. They're loved and appreciated. But I don't know. It's so.
Yeah, yeah.
So and again, he tried to make it, and my buddy, it gets worse from that. My buddy's like, he's now guilted, and he basically coughs up $20. And I was like, no. And the guy's like, no, don't do it just because of that. He says, no, I want to. It's like basically he was absolutely not intentionally, but pressured into that. And Lee Weeks is trying to make it clear he's not trying to be aggressive with that, but he's just it's at points it was a terrible, awkward situation.
Oh jeez. Oh dude. I am literally like cringe city just listening to it, bro.
And I was just utterly, and this is like this never happened before. And I've had this, my friends and people have gone with me before. Never been an issue.
No, this has been your system. It's been your go-to.
I've never had a problem with it ever. And you know what? If this is actually being made to sound as like a systematic thing that has happened, you should put that on the stupid sign that
like sure
only your books or something. Like what's the it's not like I'm CGCing it so it can be resold. I'm just getting them signed.
Right.
So anyway, so that point being, that was like a big blow. It kind of hurts my ego in front of my friends.
Oh no, dude, that I would be mentally just fucked the rest of the day.
Yeah. So that kind of poisoned a little bit. I mean, I still love Lee Weeks and his work, but it's like definitely it made me a little sterner towards him. So it was not a good omen to start the day. And
that was just the start of the day. Oh Christ!
So that was the first thing I did when I was on the floor before the costumes.
That's brutal. That is brutal. That just puts you into such a bad headspace.
Exactly. So that, and of course, then I had Frank Miller. Then I have Frank Miller to worry about. Now with Frank Miller,
I forgot about that.
So Frank Miller is at 3:45 instead of towards the tail end of the thing, which means if Frank Miller goes on for ad infinitum, I'm really screwed. That means if he goes beyond, like he's only supposed to be here from like 3:45 to 6 o'clock, and the convention goes to 7.
Yeah.
So if that thing drags on, like I know it very possibly could, I am utterly sunk and screwed over, and I am in no position to do like the refund thing. So we're gonna check in with that. So that's looming over my head with this not so great starter. So let's see. So I talked to Avatar with Gene Lewin Yang. He's got the rest of my stuff signed, seeing how really kind of approachable he was. I got the rest of my Niciesa stuff signed. It was like 11 books for $11, which is a great deal. I met the creator, the artist at least, on Spider-Man 2099. He was a lovely man, and he and his wife apparently, she showed me some photos, and he showed me like the official press release for the next Into the Spider-Verse movie.
Oh, cool.
He's very excited. It didn't really tell you anything you didn't already know. It was like, hey, Oscar Isaac's definitely going to have a big role as 2099.
Sure, yeah.
So that's exciting. And I got some guys like Terry Dotson who did like the big Kevin Smith Black Cat story. So I got him to sign. So if Kevin Smith ever shows up, I'm getting those books signed. Let's see. What else we have. Okay, you got some Miss Marvel action going on there. So it's kind of cool to see what the fandom represented there. Miss Marvel after her show.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of that there. This guy, Apocalypse. So this guy, again, the costume contest brings out the creative ones. This guy's in a
that's awesome. That almost looks like an action figure.
I'm not sure this photo, the angle of this picture does it justice, but Tiki, trust me, this guy, this is a big guy who's cowering before him right now. This guy was huge. Apocalypse was very tall. I mean, like 7 to 8 feet tall.
Yeah, no, it looks great. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. So again, you have the costumes as I mentioned. You have Cap, and let's see. Here you have. This is nice. You have kind of the Feige kind of in hiding Captain America from Winter Soldier. When he's going around the bald cap and everything, and it's a little Scarlet Witch. I think they're more dressed for Civil War. Okay, now let me tell you. So I scouted the Legos, and I did in fact buy some Legos. Here's what the Legos I ended up buying were. We got some What If Legos. We got Captain Carter. Some mission accomplished there. Got T'Challa Star-Lord. Got Zombie Cap and Iron Man.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, let's see. We got, this one. There we go. Unfortunately, as much as I looked, I was hoping to find 2 variations. I was hoping to find She-Hulk in the suit, and I was hoping to find the yellow and red Daredevil suit. Those 2 were not there on anyone, but they did have, Matt Murdock, and they have Kingpin with the cane from Hawkeye, which is nice. Let's see. We got kind of the Batman from Detective, Detective 27, the very beginning of Batman. You have the Batman, the very current
Oh,
iteration
that's
of
really
Batman.
cool. Nice, nice.
Yeah. We have both Moon Knight
Ooh,
and Mr. Knight. Got Endgame Cap, and you'll notice the little clear broken shield. It's a little clever move there.
Sure, sure.
And Falcon Cap.
Nice.
And I got Xavier from Multiverse of Madness and Deadpool. And the cool thing about this Deadpool, it's the movie Deadpool as well. Of course, I'll settle for no less. Can remove the mask.
That's badass.
And lastly, it's a little something for the holidays and a little Pixar representation. You got Christmas Grogu. And you got the Lightyear version of Buzz, but interchangeable heads, so you can have the toy Buzz, you have
My
the
God.
Evans Buzz, and you got a little not the best socks, but you have a fill-in for. So these are custom jobs.
Really a great socks, but
well, that's the thing. It's not an official socks, which they'll probably have like next year or something. This is just them kind of. All the Legos are custom, so these are
right,
all,
right, yeah.
Right. Okay, let's see. So I think we're about to get to the. Okay, so here's the thing. So every year I try to get the Sandy Brandenburg sketch done. The Deadpool.
Yeah, that was in the back of my mind. Yeah.
So this year I tried not to splurge too much on prints and artwork. So I tried to keep it specific. So unfortunately, I had one. Mike Hawthorne was going to be there. Now I've gone to pretty much all the Deadpool artists already, and I've had them do a sketch of Sandy Brandenburg. There's only 2 official Deadpool artists I've ever drawn her, and I've gotten one of them to do a new sketch of her, and then beyond that, I've just had a lot of some of the other Deadpool artists, like Scott Koblish, who did the Guinness World Record-breaking cover of Deadpool's Wedding, which had every character Deadpool's met on there, with the exception of Sandy Brandenburg. So I had him do a sketch of her last year. The only other artist that was there last year, I got a whole bunch of Deadpool stuff signed by, who was there this year, is Mike Hawthorne. My plan was to get get one Sandy Brandenburg sketch done by that guy, but his prices, well, it was very nice about it, and I kind of had to let him down. I was hoping to even get like a little sketch card done, but the sketch card was $75, which is ridiculous. His sketch card should be like $20. So imagine. So unfortunately, I could not get Mike Hawthorne done, but I did manage to get some other Brandenburg stuff. I got 2 other Brandenburg things done though, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that later. The art was kind of saved all for pretty much all for Sunday. Let's see. So let's get back to our main story at play here. Let me see. Oh yeah, on my way to see Frank Miller. Yeah, this is honestly I debated making this the main
dude should
image.
be like Frank Miller's handler.
Tiki, I swear to God, when I was in line with the guys for Frank Miller, and we were kind of joking for a bit, killing time, we did speculate. Wouldn't it be great if you had like a Frank Miller Batman?
No, seriously, what? That would be so awesome.
Like, imagine if Frank Miller entered with an entourage of like Batman and Daredevil, and maybe the Kingpin, ready to take anyone down.
Oh my God!
So seriously, this guy was an amazing. This is the best Kingpin of the convention for me.
That's a genuinely like really awesome cosplay. Yeah,
they had 2 variations of the Kingpin at this con. You had him, who I think was the best because he looks just like he stepped out of Hawkeye or Daredevil season 3, and you had one that was from the climax of Hawkeye in the Hawaiian shirt with the hat.
Nice.
Anyway, so this honestly for me is like the summation of ComicCon, because he's holding money and he's the Kingpin. So kind of awesome when Frank Miller represented, but also greed. So I was getting a picture of this guy, and by sheer happenstance, I had this happen with two character pairings. By sheer happenstance, as I'm getting this guy's picture, look who shows up.
Oh my God.
And I say, oh my God, I told the Kingpin to turn around, and there he was. And I got him both in the picture there. All right, so the area, see, there's the line behind. That's where everyone gathers in the line, by the
way. Right,
okay. So you go down there, and then you hook.
Is it like a switchback situation?
I don't know I get snakes around, so like basically everyone's gonna fill in there, and like there's gonna snake around a few times, and like the furthest snake will be behind that woman there in the background.
Gotcha.
On the other side of the blue kind of divider thing. Regardless, down that hallway and to the left is where you go to meet Frank Miller. So again, it's about time I go to meet my buddy, who unfortunately my buddies had to leave early, but thankfully my guy waited there for me, so I got in line. Apparently I got yet again second in line for the silver spot. And to be fair, this time I'm there, and I'm literally there's like very few people in front of us, And I'm thinking maybe I'm not second in line, but then I realized though those are gold people, but it's like only like 5 of them.
Right. Not
And
nearly as bad. Yeah.
yes, point being, so yeah, so I'm up there. I'm thinking, okay, this isn't bad. So again, I'm expecting the worst based on what happened yesterday.
Of course. Yeah.
So I'm expecting like a legion of them to show up, and I have that's so funny. Like having been through it with Jim Lee, I'm one guy on one side I was geeking out about Frank Miller stuff, and the guy behind me, it's like this guy is somewhat of a lifer, but it's the first time he's been here. It seems like, or at the very least, it's like he's here and he has not met Jim Lee, so he doesn't know how bad the line thing worked. So I had to clip his wings, and I told him and I warned him like, okay, expect all the gold people to show up. And we had like a whole shorthand going on about the gold people, and he was getting incensed by the gold people. so we're there waiting. We're killing time, and then it's getting close to showtime, and then we're then shifted to stand in line, and then because we're off to the sides in kind of that hovering space, we're all essentially in line. Like, who cares what the Red Menace says? We're in line.
Uh-huh.
So then we are officially in line, but guess who gets to stand in line first? Who gets to show up late to the party?
The gold people.
The goldies.
Oh God.
The gold people show up, and there's like 15 or 20 of them, and it's like, again, they're for some reason, again, their whole meeting is like an hour, an hour or so beforehand, and there's like no one there, and they show up and line up and stand there.
Right, yeah.
So I'm like, okay, just please no more gold people. Just please no more gold people showing up. And then there's a question of if Frank Miller's going to show up on time, which he did not.
Yeah, that's always an anxiety too, for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, Jim Lee was already probably like in that room and in business.
This is one of the reasons why I just don't think I'd be able to handle a Comic-Con, is that there's just so many moving parts and variables that you have to worry about.
Yeah, oh, for sure. So it's the same issue, Tiki. So all those people are showing up, but it's added to. It's kind of like, well, there's not like a whole legion of
so
gold
it's gone
people.
from like a very, very manageable number to like, ooh, it's slowly starting to get as bad as it was yesterday.
Well, it's kind of a mixture of things where it's not as lengthy in terms of the gold people that are in front of us, but it's starting to get there. It's like maybe going from 20 to maybe, let's say, 30 max, and then Frank Miller's not showing up on time. So even if there were not as many people there, that factor is working against me as well.
Sure, yeah.
And then we have a girl we have a Red Menace who's kindly, but does remind me of Erin Brill from Better Call Saul.
No.
She's like a pixie ninja. She's a GD pixie ninja.
Totally,
I call her
yeah.
I remarked to the man behind me who was informing like how bad yesterday went, to saying she's like a bad news pixie. She's all smiles, and she comes around looking all cute and stuff, and she says, "Hi, yeah, Frank's not here yet." And then she gives us the laughable reason why he's not there.
Oh God.
Frank's having lunch, and I can't tell him to eat faster.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And I'm thinking, if he knows he's going to be someplace at a certain time, why would he time lunch to be right before that?
Dragon Ellie says, I can't believe I was ignorant to the deep intricacies of Comic-Con. So, Dragon, I gotta say, this podcast is turning out. I think this is a very valuable podcast as far as storytelling goes for the uninitiated of the Comic-Con stuff. So,
yeah.
I'm very happy with the results here. All right. Even if we can get one person engaged, we've done our job.
That we have. I'm shocked one person's listening to all this, frankly.
I know, right? Okay,
so,
Greg, if do you need me to vent while you take care of that, or?
Well, I can't really hit the button, Tiki, so we're just gonna have to power on through it.
Oh, got it. Okay, for sure.
Okay, so let's see. So a point being, Frank Miller, he emerges, Tiki. He comes from this thing. There's no other entry because we're this far down the hallway. It's not like some rooms. There's like a back. There's like kind of like a back door. Like kitchen's like a loading dock area where the people just kind of walk through the back of the room. Which sometimes that's how it works. That's usually how they exit. This is not the case. So Frank Miller, for some reason, I don't know why they didn't load him in through there anyway, but he has to walk the corner like the rest of us did. So we're all seeing him. So the man emerges, and it's like a Bigfoot sighting.
Oh no, God!
And he's just walking there. And here's the thing, man. This is where it kind of occurs to you, because every time you see a picture of Frank Miller, he looks intimidating as heck. It's
yeah.
It's like, what if you had someone as famous as Stan Lee, but he gave the perception that he was not a smiling Stan Lee, that he was not a nice man. He seemed, again, like a guy who walked right out of Daredevil.
Instead of smiling Stan Lee, it's frowning Frank Miller.
There you go. And he's wearing the crazy hat. And of course, infamously, he put on a hat and then wrote all the crazy stories.
Oh, yes.
So
Doesn't he usually wear a fedora?
That's the hat. Yeah, that's the hat.
Yeah, right.
So he wears the infamous black fedora, and he's walking the corner. He's wearing all black. He's wearing a Batman shirt under the jacket.
I swear to God, his aesthetic is like the Tim Burton of the comic world.
He wears like a black suit jacket, and he wears like probably black jeans, black suit jacket. He might have been just regular jeans. The point is, he's wearing a black suit jacket. And he's wearing a cool Batman t-shirt underneath, which looks really cool. It's like black and white, so it looks really. I think it's Dark Knight Returns themed, which is nice. So he's walking in the corner, but this is where I've never seen the man in person. I've seen him at times, but never like up anyway. So he's. I think I saw him once during a panel. That was the closest I've ever been to the man in proximity during a Batman anniversary panel. And seeing him up close and seeing him walk, he looked frail and he looked worse for wear, my friend. I mean, he's got like an artist hunch going on, and it's I was kind of shocking, and we're all saying, "Oh man, Frank doesn't look good." Yeah. So it was kind of, and then so he finally gets there, and then so he gets in there, he gets in the room, and then something kind of gobsmacking happens.
Okay.
Well, first off, when he's walking in there, he has this great moment. People were sitting around because they're waiting for so long. He says, "No sitting," and then they get up, and it's really kind of an adorable thing where it's like, "Oh man, no one wants this." Like the boss tells you to stand up, you stand up.
Right. Yeah.
So when I saw Frank Miller turn the corner, I instantly stood up before everyone else was being told, like, "Hey, no sitting, guys. We're gonna get this." So anyway, so we're in there already. Okay, so Frank's gonna get them in there. Presumably, they're gonna churn them out fast. Hopefully soon. After the gold people get in there first, and like less than 5 minutes later, Frank Miller's walking out of the room.
What? Oh no!
And again, not a spring chicken, so he is sauntering out of the room and then off down the corner. It's like, what?
Bathroom?
And we're all like, what? That you'd have to assume, right?
Yeah.
But after all that time getting there, why?
He is just coming back from lunch.
I know, coming back from lunch, but still, like, I don't know. Point being, so, and then the guy behind is like joking, like the look on that lady's face, the little bad news fairy's face, just seeing like the utter shock of like she's promised all these people he's coming, and then like, and there he's leaving. And again, like the line is getting bigger and bigger by the second, my friend. So the tension is mounting. So eventually he comes back into the room, and then we're told like, yeah, Frank's not doing pictures, mainly due to I don't know if it's because he's sensitive about how he looks these days, or most assumedly because he is back so wall to wall there was no time for pictures.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, at least that I get, at least with Jim Lee versus like Jim Lee's like, okay, I'm going to pay this much money. He's going to keep me waiting for all these freaking gold people in front of me. We're getting pictures, man.
Exactly.
Because you've already screwed all these people out of everything. All right. I pity the riot. I kind of hope there was a riot that happened after I left. With Jim,
as long as you weren't involved in it.
Exactly. Yes. At least I would get the riot. I would not want to take part in it, but at least people have every right in the world to riot after they would probably get screwed out of. Like Jim Lee, all I hope is that Jim Lee stayed there until like 9 o'clock at night. Honestly, that's what you get for not playing by the rules. So Frank Miller's there. Goes rather smoothly. I'm so glad I wrote the thank you note because I anticipated like he's not going to have time to go for a whole chat. So the thank you note would be very invaluable. In this case, it was absolutely invaluable. So I'm not going to have time to chat with him. So I basically said, Mr. Miller, I know you're busy. Here's a thank you note. Got it all in there. Thanks for all you've done. And he complimented my Better Call Murdoch shirt. He liked it.
Nice.
Yep. So Frank Miller actually he's actually so nice despite how terrifying he looks. It seems. So that was good. Thank goodness for that. All right, let's see. So after that, we have. Okay, here's another chance encounter. Like when I was on the floor, I was getting pictures with a Batman.
Oh, that's cool.
And literally, as I was getting pictures with the Batman, the Riddler shows up, and it's like he says Riddler, and then they get in there and they take a picture. Chance encounter there. Let's see what else. Okay, here's the Brandenburg sketch. And this is really cool. I got an artist by the name of John Watkins Chow, very affordable artist, and he did this for free. He did like a little quick sketch of
Oh
Sandy
wow,
Brandenburg.
nice.
So compared to all the price gouging, I was able to kind of subterfuge that somewhat, which is nice. Okay, so then that brings us to we'll get there in a second. That's that then. So I basically with this guy then scoured with the remaining time I had after Miller. I scoured Artist Alley to kind of prepare for stuff I might want to buy print wise Sunday. Then of course like some shopping and such, and just kind of looking around and he's pretty much just scoping out what I'm going to do in the big purchase day, which would be tomorrow. So the main thing I bought today were Legos. That was the main thing I bought. Also, I bought my dream comic. I bought it.
Nice.
Got Detective number 439. Got Night of the Stalker. I got it. Very pleased. All right, so that brings us to Sunday, which is usually the easy day, but also it's for all the marbles. It's the end game day, my friend.
And so just remind me, we have Sunday and then we have Monday for the horror con, right?
Well, it's also Sunday. It's 2 Sundays.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay.
So trust me, the Mania is going to go by. Mania is not as involved as ComicCon. It's going to go by like that. And Sunday is just it basically has the crescendo of our stories. So
Sure.
Okay, so Sunday traditionally I take my folks with me because it's been kind of a tradition since my father took me to the first one years back. Unfortunately, my father was unable to go with us because he's getting up there in age to the point where he can't do the foot traffic. It's aware his bad feet, so it's aware.
I feel you. My grandma's kind of getting the same way too, where it's like I grew up going to theme parks with her, but it is becoming an issue. Yeah.
So that's the unfortunately this is the year we had to draw the line in the sand where he just simply physically could not do it. And my mother. So my mother was going with me still. She's not been well. I won't get into the details or specifics. Let's just say for the past 2 months she has not been well.
I'm sorry to hear that, man. Yeah.
But on the mend though, we're all seemingly all good. So that's good. Silver lining. I'm just saying still, it's like her coming out of being unwell.
Sure. Yeah.
The point is kind of anyway. So I'm decked out, preparing for the end game. I'm wearing my Cap Shield backpack. With the vibranium shield, and I'm wearing my sewn version of the Captain America shirt. Looks a little like the USO suit.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm there. So the Sunday's going off. The first thing I just got to get out of the way at the top of Sunday is okay. I'm going to deal with Lee Weeks, but I had to con him, and it's a little bit out of revenge. I won't lie. A little bit. It's like, so I gave my mother 2 books and I have 2 books, but I had to make sure he cannot know we're associated.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So I sent her, and then I was kind of wait off to the side and was looking around.
It was like a fucking heist at this point.
Yep. I got one over on him, and he deserved it. And then I went back and I got the stuff signed, and it seems like so many people probably came by, probably forgotten about the encounter. That's what I like to think. Right. Yeah. And so Lee Weeks was again. I wish I had a few. It's such a shame because had the plan gone off without a hitch, I would have been able to get the last remaining things I had signed, get signed by Lee Weeks. But again, because between the Jim Lee line and how things went on Saturday, no luck. Anyway, so I did buy my father a Christmas gift. I got my father a really good Christmas gift while I was in the wings waiting for Lee Weeks to be dealt with.
Mm-hmm.
I got him. There's this autograph booth where basically certified autographs. My father's always down for the certifications. Is the big sell for him, and I found some certified items. And one thing I came across was really special. It was this. This thing right here.
Oh wow, nice.
So this is I think it's like a lithograph of some sort. It looks kind of like an animation cell. It's probably like a promotional thing they did give them the logo.
Right. Yeah.
This is from Spider-Man the Animated Series, which is really cool. And it's signed by Stan Lee, and here's proof in the pudding of Stan Lee signing this.
That's awesome.
Now, my father loves Stan Lee because obviously he loves Marvel stuff, but beyond that, he's constantly mistaken for and resembles Stan Lee. So there's a big, so he feels very akin to Stan Lee, so he loves Stan Lee items, and of course, this was so I got this for him for Christmas, and I think he's gonna like it.
Nice.
Anyway, so there's that, and the thing my mother and I did. We there are many celebrities that were at this con, but to me, the chief celebrity of which was the car, was Baby from Supernatural.
Oh, cool.
Tiki, it's Dean's baby. So let me tell you about the celebs here.
This
So
thing needs to go to that Gatlinburg Car Museum eventually.
so this okay. So just so you know, I'm pretty sure this is a built recreation, but it is decked out in stuff that is from the show. So
Uh-huh.
you have the idea that this is not just like a picture with the car. For $20, you get the full experience. Or you can take a picture like this for free, but when you get to pose with it, you get to put on the costumes they actually wore in Supernatural, like Castiel's jacket, Dean's jacket. They have props, at least recreations of props, and inside they have like all sorts of Easter eggs and stuff that's from the show, including look at all the autographs from the
Oh,
people that
wow.
worked on the show. It signed parts of the car, like the little
Uh-huh.
dash here, and the little the glove box.
Cool.
You have like all like little Easter eggs and badges and stuff you can put on. It's really cool. Anyway, so the celebrity situation, it was not the most appetizing year for celebrities for me compared to what it had been previous years. Still, my dream is that Tom Cavanaugh will show up to one of these, and I will be
Oh,
slobbering
yeah,
and
of
grateful.
course, yeah.
So John Leguizamo was there.
Okay, well, that's pretty big.
That is pretty big. I wasn't quite compelled to see Leguizamo though, but he was there.
I would be compelled to see Leguizamo.
I
Like,
was
I mean,
tempted.
I will put it this way: I wouldn't like go out of my way to a con just for him, but if I was already at a con and he was there, he'd be one of my priorities.
That's the thing. You also have like a pricing thing as well because you can only if you do a celeb, you got to pick which
He's
ones. Because
Luigi, man.
True. And now so is Charlie Day. All right, so but you're gonna like. I think you love this lineup, but they had to pick and choose though, and I was trying to do like a swing by and just like say hello to at least most of these ladies, but unfortunately their lines were just too busy compared to what they usually are on Sunday, and again just with how busy things got. With the basically, if I had not seen Jim Lee and Frank Miller, I would have said hi to them. Unfortunately, I had to make compromises here, so they had four of the Disney princesses there.
Uh-huh.
They had Judy Kuhn, who was the voice, who was the voice of sorry, it's Pocahontas' singing voice,
Okay.
which obviously did not grab me because I don't care for Pocahontas.
Right, yeah. Not
You,
exactly a huge seller there, yeah.
you had Linda Larkin, Jasmine, which did tempt me.
Mm-hmm.
And then the
well,
big
of course, another Jasmine would be a lot more appealing for you.
Yeah.
She's not necessarily known for playing Jasmine, but still.
Yeah.
That's Dee Dee Mango who played Pearl for anyone.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
She played Jasmine in the California Adventure Aladdin show, which I am 99% sure I saw her in. All right. Anyways,
then there's the two ones that tempted me most that I really was hoping to try and see. Paige O'Hara, the voice of Belle. She was there.
God, yeah. I mean, she's royalty. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have loved to have seen her. I did kind of have like a moment while I was waiting in the Tom King line on day one. I have to assume, I don't know if it's like a rigged thing on her or not, but there was like a lady in a Belle costume who belted out. I think she might have been like an opera singer, belted out like an opera thing we all heard, like singing to her, which is crazy, but it was awesome. Then lastly, the one I swung by and I said hello despite the handler trying to brush me off. Jodie Benson.
Oh, dude. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I kind of saw Jodie Benson, didn't have it. They had like one person in line she was wrapping up with. And I says, hey, what can we do for you? I said, I just want to say hi. She's like, I don't know. She's not really meeting people. Says, yeah. I was kind of looking. Part of me was debating, should I ream into her?
Okay, I could just give her picture Jodie Benson and her angelic voice being like, oh, it's okay. I'd love to meet this young man.
That would have been great. I mean, that Tara Strong would have done that in a heartbeat. But yeah, totally. Yeah. Been Tara, I had the best experience with Tara Strong.
Oh.
Anyway, but regardless, so Jodie Benson's like, just keep it brief. He's like, I wasn't going to make it long anyway. I was just going to say, hey, hello, Jodie. Welcome to the con. I loved Barbie and the Toy Story movies.
Yeah, right.
Well, I mean, that was the main thing I wanted to see her for, honestly. Here's what she did in Toy Story 2 with with Barbie and as the
Honestly,
tour
she was
guide
probably like,
mermaids.
"Oh, someone who's not obsessed with me being Ariel."
That's the thing. I was going to highlight the one thing. I'm not. I mean, I love Part of Your World, but aside from that, the main thing I
Yeah,
always
yeah,
wanted to
right,
mention
right.
for is she was in Toy Story, man. That's the main. Yeah, that's the important thing. Anyway, so point was like a little quick hello there, but again, to me, the real
If
celebrity
I
this year
met
was the
Jody
car.
Benson, I'd name drop Rhapsody Street Kids.
I think she would have appreciated that.
I know,
Because there were a lot of cosplayers that were dressed as Ariel, or there were a lot of Disney. There was a lot of it. There's a big Disney presence. Oddly enough, not a lot of Jasmine, as you would like. Not a lot of Jasmine or Pocahontas. It was just you had Ariel and you had it. You had Ariel. You had Bruno for Leguizamo. You had Ariel. You
Oh,
had
that's
Bruno.
cool. That's cool. Yeah, yeah.
You had Merida for some reason, but she was. I mean, that was cool. She was
Random.
there.
Okay.
I know it's random. Yeah, I know. That's the thing. You had random
Maybe because
princesses.
redhead.
And I guess.
Uh-huh.
That's what I'm saying. So yeah, that was a little odd, but yeah. Point being, they had a Disney presence this year, which is always refreshing. Let's see, but again, main celebrity for me this year, Baby.
Yeah, sure, sure.
Oddly, though, we did put Baby in the corner of the convention, which is odd. When you think about it. Anywho, let's see. But then, okay, so let me tell you about some art that I was able to procure. So, Eric Matos, great artist I've seen before. He had some excellent prints for sale, and this is these are a few that I procured. You have a She-Hulk here.
Nice, nice.
You got Mary Jane.
Mm-hmm.
Again, unfortunately, I had to pick and choose because all of his work is utterly striking and beautiful. I've gotten some of his work before, but it was like it's in Artist Alley. Not everyone comes back every year, so it's like, oh my god, I remember this guy. I love this artwork. And this is going to lead to a harrowing story. I don't know if you have the Constitution for. And of course, there's a Harley Quinn from Mad Love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, so my plan this day, the one guy who had eluded my grasp for the past 2 days, like timing wise, has kept missing him. John Cassidy, who did like the big, basically the Joss Whedon X-Men, big revamp with put him in the jackets and everything. So I'm going to John Cassidy. Before I do that, I early in the day I went to Eric Matos and I requested a Sandy Brandenburg sketch. Okay.
Yep.
And very affordable. All that it was great, and we took care of that. Thank goodness I paid in cash for what's about to happen.
Oh no.
So I got that, and he says, "Oh, I got 3 ahead of you." And again, I'm trying to get out there a little early, so there's a chance I'm prepared. Like, okay, he might have to mail it to me. Worst case, which is not the end of the world. But the point being, so I'm like third in line to get a sketch done. Well, hopefully, it'll time out before I leave the convention. So I get that done. So later in the day, I take care of the Manipool thing after I dig out that one comic and I get it signed by Manipool again. I saw Fabian Nicieza, and Fabian Nicieza, because you remember me all 3 days, is really sweet. He's doing this thing for charity where it's like you could buy a print for $20, and this is really unique. I've never seen this before. It's Deadpool and Cable. It's a Riley Brown piece, and Riley Brown drew it. He's like the definitive Deadpool artist. And you have these empty word balloons, and the writer, Fabian Nicieza, would write in Sharpie dialogue in the balloons, and he'd tailor it to the people. So he did like kind of a personalized kind of like dialogue balloons, which is really cool.
Uh-huh.
So really sweet. So something really kind of tailored to me, and it was really appreciative that I saw him all 3 days and donated to the initiative all 3 days. It was real sweet. Anyway, so I also had paid respects to Neil Adams' daughter because he passed this year. I saw her there. I was kind of shocked. Zia Adams. So I kind of told her how much her father's work meant to me. So that was, it was good to see her. And let's see. Let me show you some other art. Then I'm going to get to the harrowing story.
Okay.
Okay, here's some prints I got from an artist
That's awesome.
whose studio is called Cuddles with Cats. So of course you have Captain Carter there, and these are kind of some smaller prints, but I think you'd appreciate them. You have Falcon Cap with the big line, symbols are nothing without the people that give them meaning.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one I think you're really going to love.
Oh yeah, sure.
You are who you choose to be. Perfect.
Very Iron Giant-esque.
Oh yeah, it's the line second to Superman.
That's awesome. Yeah.
All right, so I go to John Cassidy, and there's a line, and it's not a huge line, but it's just the fact it's a slow moving line. He's really taking his time talking to people. He had this adorable encounter with a kid who's like draws landscapes. It's like, what do you draw, kid? Landscapes. And he's really captivated. Like, what kid draws landscapes? This is amazing.
That is kind of cool.
I know, which was a delightful encounter. I'm not. Here's the thing. I shouldn't have been panicking at all in this line, but then I had a terrifying realization that then put the pressure on for me while I was in this line.
Okay.
So I was going through my phone and I was looking at the Brandenburg. I had like pictures of all the Sam Brandenburg sketches from my art collection to show people at times, and I happened upon something. The biggest regret I have this con is that I didn't go over the Sandy Brandenburg art I had done before, just to refresh in my mind so I could avoid duplicates. So I had the horrifying. I was scrolling through. I said, "Wait a minute, that looks familiar." Because I told Matt, I was like, "Man, you really got to do a Sandy Brandenburg sketch because this is amazing." And then, of course, I'd then procured it with him. So I then realized, oh God, this picture, the EM on the signature, the EM right there.
Right. Yeah.
That's his, and that means
Oh,
I've gotten a Sandy Brandenburg sketch already, and I've wasted $40.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So I'm now in a panic. Oh God, I got to get through Cassidy real quick, and I got to run there, and hopefully before he's gotten to my sketch yet, so I can stop the process. And so I guess, and again, at this point, again, my legs are like I'm kind of like sore from the knee down, but under the knee down.
You're kind of at that point where your feet are just like screaming at you, like, "Give us a break, you son of a bitch!"
Pretty much. It's like, come on, man, haven't we done enough?
Right.
So anyway, so I meet Cassidy, and I get the two things signed. I think he was kind of price gouge. He was like $10 a signature. But I got two things signed. Regardless, so I'm getting that done, and so instantly after I get done, I'm rushing the rebag, and then I'm running to Eric Meadows as much as I can run without looking like a crazy person.
Oh God.
You
kind
know,
of like the rope drop crowd at a theme park. Like they tell you not to run, but everyone is like doing like a brisk speed walk.
I'm telling you, it's like the dream is collapsing music is playing behind me.
Oh no.
So
okay,
anyways,
I want to point out here, just like from an outside perspective, like the worst thing that could happen is you're just down $40 and you still get a cool image from a cool artist, but it's, you just happen to have two images from the same artist in your collection. I understand that you want your collection to be like all unique pieces, but
well, I know that's what I'm saying. Worst case, I'm covered. Like, if he had, let me put this way,
it just doesn't seem like I understand the urgency, but like, it doesn't seem like that high a stakes here.
Well, what I'm saying is it's that had I gotten up there, so I go up there. And I'm praying that he hasn't gotten to it yet, because I know if he's gotten to it, I would have played by the exact logic you're laying out there, Tiki. Like, okay, well, at least it'll be, assumingly, I'll tell him so it's not the same exact pose or anything.
Right, sure.
But regardless, hopefully I'll get to him at a stage before it's just literally the same thing again, or that it's, or if he's that far in the process, at least, yeah, it'll be a different image. At least it'll be like one for this year and it'll look kind of cool.
Exactly.
I mean, but again, I'm hoping, though, I don't want to waste his time or both of our times and everything. If it's been already done, then I can, like, if I can get to him, like you say, it's the tangible window of, like, there was 3 up before me. So there was a window which I could fix this, but I have to get there. So I did. Thankfully, he had not gotten to it yet. And thankfully, I was debating paying between cash and card. Had I paid card, it would have been a disaster.
Yeah. It would have been bupkis. Yeah.
So thankfully, I paid cash, and it was simply, I got the money back. I was very apologetic. He was very understanding and nice about it. He's like, "Oh no, it's fine, man." Because again, I did buy 3 prints from him, so it's not out or anything. And so that happened then. So another artist, the other artist I met this year was Andy Price, who I bought his work before, and I got him to do like a quick head sketch of Sandy Brandenburg for like $10. I get home at the convention, and I find. So this is the sketch I got done this year, and I to my horror, I found, oh no, I had gotten him to do a head sketch of her.
Jesus Christ! Is it like the exact same thing too?
No, but it's a head sketch. There's only so much difference that
right. Sure,
yeah. To be fair, it's not like it's not her turn there with the thought balloon, so it's different.
The thought balloon makes this though, so you got the thought balloon. That definitely makes this piece, stand out.
It does look good, but it makes me kick myself for like I achieved I was able to save myself from the 40, but they got me for 10 in the end. And not them, my own idiocy is the reason. That's what stings the most. Like, oh, how could I? Because Tiki, you prepare for everything, but there's always that one thing you forget,
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see. I think we're about just a few costumes, and I think we're okay. This guy's really cool. Moon Knight here, Mr.
Yeah,
Knight.
yeah, yeah.
This guy, he was given. I met him. I complimented him on the costume and everything because I love Moon Knight and I love all that sort of stuff. And he gave me the last of his promotional cards. Like he's a cosplayer with cards he gives out. It says Mark Spector, CEO, Midnight Mission, PO Box. It gave me like the business card that Mr. Knight would have.
A little kid dressed as Patrick Bateman gave Notarelli a Patrick Bateman business card for Halloween this year.
Oh, that is amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
And the card is everything for Patrick Bateman. That's
exactly,
important.
exactly, yeah.
So I've had this before with like Nelson and Murdoch one year. Like there was like Nelson and Murdoch group and they gave me a card. So I love when you have the cosplayers that give you the cards. It's delightful. All right, so the first time I've ever seen a Static Shock costume or a Static costume regularly.
I'm actually kind of surprised it's not a more popular costume.
I know because such a beloved character.
Yeah,
because they don't sell Static costumes. You have to customize it. You have to find like you have to build it.
You gotta have like the blue. I guess the blue jacket. Yeah.
Yeah, the blue. Yeah.
Anyways,
told him like all you need is the foil and it'd be perfect. Because he has like he rides on like a little foil disc. Again, these are some keyblades at kind of the weapons stand.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, I love the Toy Story one, bro.
I know.
That's awesome.
Look what's above the Toy Story.
Oh my god.
It's a little hard to make out here, but there's the Monsters Inc. one. And there were some others. There's the other one really cool.
No, that Toy Story one is fucking amazing though. How it blends Buzz and Woody. Oh, that's great.
I love it's like kind of like an axe blade sort of thing with like the star. And there are other ones too. Like there's a Pirates of the Caribbean one, and there's there's a Nightmare Before Christmas one as well. And this is like the weapon stand where they had like a metal Captain America shield, which I wish seriously had ComicCon timed out for that 1 year I was Captain America and I bought the metal shield. I would have bought it from the con because it was so much nicer. And it was like, yes, it was like $300, but it would have been perfect versus like the paint job that I had on the one I got.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's always like that. Anyway, and then here's some impressive. I love a good Doc Ock costume, Tiki, especially the Alfred Molina Doc Ock, like we're seeing here. So there's like two people here as kind of a Raimi villains, which is really cool. I said, oh, guys, you look amazing. You should have done this yesterday for the costume contest. Like, yeah, we weren't here yesterday. Yeah. And on the way out, just to show you, like it's so funny. See people, random groups of people saying, "Oh man, yeah," they meet each other, and then people are swarming around them like the paparazzi, getting pictures of a group shot. So you have look at the Spider-Verse.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then there was like another Spider-Man who jumped in there later. But the point being, it's like another Miles. So yeah, really impressive. All right, that's the so that's the end of the I should mention this though. I on the way out, I saw Gwen Stacy, looked amazing, got a picture of her, and next to him was a guy I did not recognize who recognized me. He said, "Oh yeah, you're not wearing your Batman the Animated Series stuff." I said, "Wait, Gary?" It was Gary, still kind of with a Spider-Man theme with Gwen Stacy, and I told him like, Gary, listen, you gotta like check the uppercase thing on the thing. And I made sure to adjust the information and everything. So yeah, I fixed that little thing with Gary's. That was nice. Okay. So that was Comic-Con, which then leaves the Monster Mania, which started off the month.
All right.
Okay, so
that's so weird that Comic-Con was on Halloween and Monster Mania was at the start of the month.
So bizarre, right? I think in previous years, Monster Mania had been closer to Halloween, honestly. All right, so you go to Hunt Valley for Monster Mania. It's done in a hotel. It's like the days of old of the original Comic-Cons, where the Comic-Cons used to be in a hotel, like a lobby or like a big room of a hotel. So that's essentially what's done here at the Delta Inn. So you only get one. I only do 1 day for Monster Mania. My folks come. My father actually can do it because he loves monsters. One, he loves monsters. He's a sucker for the creature from the Black Lagoon.
And it sounds like physically it's a lot less demanding too.
Yeah, it's only like two. It's like 2 floors with like one room. Like when you walk in the place and you go downstairs to the exhibitors where you have like all the shopping.
Sure.
So it's very simple. It's just it's far more achievable. Anyway, so
do you have any pictures you want to swap out for this?
Unfortunately, for the HorrorCon, I don't have anything. They don't have a lot of people in costume at the HorrorCon. A few, but again,
you want to go back to the Ruin and bitch on?
Yeah, let's go back to the ruins. Can you throw that up?
Yeah, hold on. I accidentally closed it. Let me open it back up. Hold on. Sorry. Do 1 second. Okay. All right. Okay.
All right, so this is my third year going to the Monster Mania, so it's a relatively new thing that I've been doing, and again, so like the first year I went primarily for Bruce Campbell, and then the second year you had Robert Englund. The idea of the Monster Mania, it's they have a bunch of like cool like horror curios and like and stuff, and like a bunch of like retailers from all across like selling their horror and kind of pop culture related stuff, and then you have a number of celebrities, but all specifically from horror movies. So it's not just like random disparate like TV celebrities, like people who have been at least in one horror related thing, but also some pop culture related guys.
Uh-huh.
Like last year, there was Christopher Lloyd, for example, who again not
Right.
tremendously known for horror, but occasionally Adam's Family. So, anyways, this is a 1 day con. I tried to. This one actually had the most intensive planning for me because it's the simplest day. You only get one bite at the apple, and it's like if you miss them, you miss them. That's not good. So I tried to anticipate as much as I can. I was looking religiously because there are a lot of cancellations and additions with the Monster Mania you have to prep for. And unfortunately, this year I was at a major disadvantage because in the previous 2 years I went, they revealed what the pricings and if guests took selfies or not.
Mm-hmm.
This year, not the case because it was for a very good reason though. Apparently, other greedy agents of our celebrities, they got wind of like how much people were charging, so they would try to upcharge themselves. So that's why they don't show it anymore.
Mm.
Anyway, so I'm intensively planning, and basically, I ended up with like three prime targets. Okay, you got three targets. Um, you got John Bernthal as the main target, big target of the
Oh
day,
God, yeah, big one. Of course,
and he was
Walking
like
Dead being the big thing with the horror community.
the latest addition. So he kind of threw me for a loop what I was preparing for. Of the three guys, like, oh God, and Bernthal's there now. I had to read. I definitely had to write a thank you letter to John Bernthal, which I had to kind of tack on there and get right. Then my printer was giving me trouble, so I had to like shake the ink and everything. And I did not have any more ink cartridges, so it's a whole. But mundanity just ratchets up from here, folks. Anyway, so John Bernthal is obviously the prime target now. Definitely want to meet him. Then you have Malcolm McDowell.
Oh man, yeah, another really big name.
Of course, for Malcolm McDowell, obviously there's Clockwork Orange, but the main things I was so intrigued with Malcolm McDowell from for many years. Was Superman the Animated Series when he played Metallo, which I was going to geek out to him about. And then the most recently, again, Malcolm McDowell was very serendipitous because I had very recently for the first time watched Time After Time, which stars Malcolm McDowell, and I watched it because David Warner had passed. So
Mm-hmm.
it was kind of serendipitous, like, oh my God, I have to see Malcolm McDowell this year. It's like things have just kind of lined up that way. I got to meet him. And thirdly, Chris Sarandon,
Okay, not quite as familiar with him.
the voice of Jack Skellington that does not sing.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah, the name ringed a bell. Okay,
And
cool.
Prince Humperdinck from Princess Bride, and
Mm-hmm.
he was Al Pacino's lover in Dog Day Afternoon.
Gotcha. All right.
All right, so point being, I tried to in advance like scat out as much as I could, but I was primarily flying blind in terms of like how much people were charging and what I was going to be able to accomplish here. So I'm going in. I was hoping that there were some other like kind of smaller targets that were there as well that was not particularly like super like like ride or die for. Like you had Richard Brake, who was Joe Chill from Batman Begins,
Mm-hmm.
and who was in the Munsters. You had Munsters guys there this year
Oh
from the new
Jesus.
Munsters. You had Richard Brake, you had Jeff Daniel Phillips, and you had Daniel Roebuck. So you had Grandpa Munster, Herman Munster, at least in quotes Herman Munster. And
Yeah, you're damn right. In quotes, Herman Munster.
my mother met the real Herman Munster. She met Fred Gwynn. So,
Now Daniel Roebuck, I think he did a damn good job. Like he was like the one person in that movie that was actually trying.
yeah.
Also, we have Koski Productions in the comments. He says,
Welcome.
a one-day con, Saul Goodman would be impressed.
Yes. Versus like a whole month or two con that we see in season 2. All right, so point being, the biggest, there was a huge guest that they had, like they acquired and then they lost him. I suspect because of Oscar buzz. Brendan Fraser.
Oh yeah, quite possibly.
He was supposed to be there, and then he and Ken Page were supposed to be there, and Ken Page had like a filming commitment, so he wasn't able to be there. And then
Fraser's like, sorry guys, my my fee just went up.
I'm convinced I'm convinced he's like, I'm too big for this con.
Right.
Literally, look at the size of me.
Literally.
I'm too big to con.
Oh man.
All
okay,
right.
now I'm just imagining Brendan Fraser like slowly morphing into his character from The Whale, but just due to pure ego from his comeback.
Yes. He started off as the guy from The Mummy, it turned into Orson Welles.
Oh god. And it's like, from what I know, his character in The Whale is like incredibly sympathetic, but this guy's just asshole.
Well, it's kind of like that gag in Looney Tunes Back in Action. Remember, he's like Brendan Fraser, like he plays himself, and he got himself fired.
Right. Oh god.
Oh, I get a lot of people fighting. He punches him in the face. He does his own stunts. All right. Okay, so I show up there again. Like I'm very razor focused. I'm flying blind. I have no idea how difficult this day is going to go because again, the problem is it's not just one guy. Bruce Campbell's like, okay, one big guy to get that day.
Right, yeah.
But I have at minimum, like here's the thing, Chris Sarandon. I'm mainly doing. Here's the thing, I like Chris Sarandon, but if for me, if Danny Elfman were there, it would be a different story. Chris Sarandon, on the other hand, I'd like him, but my mother adores Nightmare Before Christmas as much as I love it. She really loves it. So she's primarily that's the biggest thing. She's eager to sack Skellington.
Gotcha.
Hello.
Are you there? You sound like you cut out for a minute.
Yeah, something. I think the screen share thing like stopped. Well, I know obviously it stopped because you switched. I don't know. I think we're good now.
Okay.
Anyway, my mother, she loves Nightmare Before Christmas. Her prime directive this day was to meet Chris Sarandon.
Sure.
So for me, my two big targets are initially was Malcolm McDowell, but then they dropped Bernthal on me. So, oh god, now it's two people, and I had to pick who am I going to prioritize out of the two.
That is a little bit of a Sophie's choice.
So I'm going in there, Tiki, and I'm like divoting my focus because I have to keep an eye on the line situation for these two guys, and I don't know where I scout out when I get there. Like I sneak downstairs and I try to like I'm saying, okay, so there's Bernthal's going to be in that room. So they don't want people going downstairs because the guys aren't set up yet to sell all the stuff. And upstairs, I'm asking around. I'm finding, okay, so McDowell's going to be in this room. So I'm keeping an eye on the two rooms. And Sarandon's room from down the hall for my mother. So I'm saying, okay, here's how we're going to do this. Here's who's going to come first. So anyway, I go for Bernthal because I figure, okay, Bernthal, obviously, between the MCU and the very least The Walking Dead, which always has like a huge legion of fans, I got to go Bernthal. I'm going to roll the dice on Malcolm McDowell.
Yeah, no, that's where I would have gone as well.
So Bernthal did have a line, but I got it. I got it. So it wasn't like at the very end or anything. I was like kind of like maybe like if the line snakes around, I was in like the second snake. I was in like the second coil. Okay. So not too bad because not like a lot of people in front of me. Like not like a whole like not a giant snake, but the fact is like the line's already snaking around, and he's not even there yet. So that's the thing. So unfortunately, Bernthal probably being the big talent of the day, he was late, but. Tiki, more than anyone I've seen between the Baltimore ComicCon and this con, when he showed up, he cracked him out, man. Bernthal is such a freaking pro. I mean, when he showed up there, but also he did this show, which I didn't care for the show at all because I stopped after 2 episodes, but he was in it. He was good in it. It's called We Own This City, and it's set in Baltimore.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that being advertised.
And he came in wearing because he's in the neighborhood. He's wearing the sweat. He's wearing a sweatshirt, like a zip up hoodie that has like the BCPD or like some sort of like logo, officer's logo on it, which is kind of cool. Like, hey, he was in that show. Isn't that cute? Mm-hmm. So anyway, so he's there, and he's
Max Fayroe, by the way, is in another show. Did you know about this?
Yeah, I know. I heard about this. He's in the firefighter show. Now, right?
The firefighter show, which looks super generic, but whatever.
Well, he did a show before this, like a SWAT team show, right?
That also sounds super generic.
It was super generic. This one looks like a little better. Of course,
I don't know.
Highmore's killing it on the Good Doctor, though. Highmore's like he's
No,
he's on.
Highmore definitely got the better end of the deal there. Yeah.
Yeah, I still say, man, let's give him like a Bruce Wayne indie movie or something. Let's just let's give it to him. He's a big boy. He can do it now. Anyway,
Maybe get him as Bruce Wayne and Joker too.
there you go. Just dye his hair, put him in it. Anyway, so Bernthal was late, but he went through like a pro. He was giving people time of day. He was chatting them up. He was charming the pants off them. And then I tell you, man, I got up there and I gave him the thank you note. He said, I mean, I'm absolutely. He was very grateful. He says he's going to read it on the plane.
Oh man, oh that's awesome.
And then we were talking. So I told him, like, oh man, I love everything. I love the Marvel Netflix shows, and I know you can't say anything. I'm hoping the rumors are true. And we're going to see the Punisher back at some point. And he says, he's eager that Charlie Cox is being folded back into it as well. And he says, yeah, we'll see. But yeah, kind of with a smile. It seems like, I think the Punisher's coming back. I think he's coming back. So got a picture with him, and then we had we went to Chris Sarandon, which. So Sarandon was nice. My mother.
There are few who deny it. What I do, I am the best.
I really regret.
Oh, I'm sorry, that is technically Elfman.
Yeah, I do regret asking him about that because I assumed it was answered somewhere else. I double checked; it was not. Like, I guess I do have my answer because I was going to ask. I thought of asking like, would you have would he have wanted to do the singing? Like, had they come to him first? Because what happened was. Elfman was originally considered. He was always slated to do the singing, and then they kind of opted out for the acting. They wanted more of a seasoned actor, so it makes you wonder, like, had they gone to Sarandon, you think he would have been able to do all the singing himself had Elfman not been on the table for that. But
yeah.
Anyway, point being, so my mother was she was excited to see him, but then she was crestfallen by something.
Oh no!
So Sarandon, we were eager. She was very much looking forward to getting like a selfie with him. Like, the three of us would be on a selfie with him because we did that with Matthew Lillard one year, and she loved meeting Matthew Lillard.
I remember that. Yeah.
So what happened was, Chris Sarandon is being extra cautious with the mask and everything, and he would not. I asked these people so wait, can he take it down when we take the photo? And he says, no, it's not an option, which obviously defeats the purpose of taking a selfie if you're not going to see the guy's face.
Mm-hmm.
So unfortunately, that was kind of, so basically we met him, we got an autograph instead, but that was a bit of an upset, but still Sarandon was rather nice. Anyway, so Malcolm McDowell, I'm jumping all over the place here. Malcolm McDowell, there's a line for him. It's not a massive line, but so everything so far, Tiki, everything is going rather smoothly. Everything's going great so far. And I'm in there, and you have a whole bunch of photos from the table to choose from. I'm waiting. There's like a big selection to choose from. Fortunately, nothing from Superman the Animated Series, but I did I was on Time After Time. I got Time After Time picture and everything. I go up there, and Tiki McDowell was a delight. He was an utter delight.
Nice.
He I did make an embarrassing, terrible mistake though.
Oh no, God.
I made a popular misconception, which for years I never looked into because I thought it was I blindly assumed this, but he corrected me on something. I made the mistake. I'm sure as he confirmed, several other people had that Roddy McDowell was his brother.
Oh shit! Oh come on, man! Why would you assume that without looking into it, bro?
Tiki, it's like the one. Tiki, it's so
painful.
Yeah, it's the thing of it seems like such a small. How wouldn't you instantly assume Roddy McDowell and Malcolm McDowell are related?
Not instantly, no.
I mean, they're roughly the same age. They're English actors. They've done a lot of voice work. I don't know. I don't know. They both, I believe, I forget if Malcolm McDowell has ever worked into one of the Planet of the Apes movies. I think he might have been once. I know Roddy McDowell obviously was. I don't know. Yes. Point being, I made a terrible mistake, but I'm not the first though. It happens all the time apparently. But that was the embarrassing mistake I did. The worst thing is that I also did in the letter. That's the worst part.
Why? What's in the letter?
Well, just in the letter, I thanked for everything, and I mentioned, like in terms of, like, the greats that we've lost. I said, David Warner and your brother, and
Oh God. Oh
so,
right.
but again, I'm hoping that he would remember the encounter in which I got it wrong, so he'd probably be able to look
And just
past that.
get a chuckle like, oh yeah, that idiot.
Well, well,
No,
yeah,
of course I don't. Of course I'm joking.
yeah. But still, though, it's he was a lovely man. Though we got to talk, and like I told him, like, oh man, I loved you and David Warner, and time after time, watched it for the first time, was utterly blown away by it. And yeah, my father just saw him in a movie, so he was like kind of charmed, like, oh my god, he looks just like he does in the movies.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, it was he
I
was
remember him from Heroes. That's about the last major thing I remember him popping up in.
yeah, like he was in the Rob Zombie Halloween. That was probably my father saw him in recently, and again, he's been another. He pops up in things on the regular, but like in kind of bit parts and like kind of
Right,
stunt
right,
casting sort of
yeah.
thing. But yeah, I was worried about how Malcolm McDowell would go down because I heard somewhere that he's not really super familiar with the roles that he had done in like 30 years past, like aside from Clockwork Orange. But no, he was very. I mean, he remembered Superman the animated series, and he remembered time after time. So yeah, I was.
Well, shit. I mean, if you remember a specific episode of an animated series, yeah, that's a
Well, no, he did. I didn't give him specifics on the episode, but I just said, "You remember doing like because he's done a lot of voice work. Do you remember doing the Superman the
uh
animated series?" And he did. So probably not specifics because but yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, right.
yeah. Regardless, so Malcolm McDowell was great. We got some cool horror stuff. Like bought some bust of like the Creature from the Black Lagoon, Frankenstein. Saw some people doing advertisements for like the Buffalo. This is crazy, Tiki. I don't know, you should look into this at some point. Someone has an Airbnb, like a vacation experience for
Of
the
Buffalo
Buffalo.
Bills. Oh God.
Yes, the Buffalo Bill House. Yeah,
Why?
I know it's the. Plus, they added like the
I
well
mean,
and
I
everything in
certainly
the.
would not want to partake in that.
So it's like the actual Buffalo Bill House, and they've just retrofitted it to
Oh
look more like the
God,
movie.
that's morbid.
I know it is morbid. It's very
That
fascinating.
reminds me of a certain. You haven't seen Nope yet, have you?
No.
That reminds me of a certain plot point in Nope. Anyone who's seen Nope probably knows what I'm talking about. Anyways,
Yeah. So I'm saying, it had like a lot of really cool and kind of interesting looking things there. Also, it had like some fun gags. There was a Deadpool who was Pinhead, but Pinhead it was he had like thumbtack pins in his head,
mm-hmm.
like big old thumbtack pins and like a rubber chicken. It was rather humorous. Anyway, so let's see. So, one last thing, like on the way out, I just kind of tried to squeeze them in there. I saw two guests. Again, I said hi to Richard Brake, like kind of hoped to, and I also chatted up Anthony Michael Hall,
Oh,
Russ,
nice, nice.
and Mike Engel from The Dark Knight. Man, I chatted him up, say, oh, I loved seeing you on the Goldbergs during the episode. You played like the cool teachers. Oh yeah, thanks. Man. He was really friendly. We shook hands a whole bunch of times. He was really cool.
Uh huh.
So all in all, ComicCon rather tumultuous this year. Monster
Yeah,
Mania
sounds like it.
smooth as a baby's bottom.
I mean, to be fair, I feel like that, just by the very nature of the events, that seems like it would be, par for the course. But
One of the coolest things about Monster Mania too is that they certify the autographs for like $10 a pop, which is really helpful.
uh huh.
Yeah, but yeah, so that's it. That's it's kind of the happy end. I've kind of slapped on things here, but yeah, that's all she
All
wrote.
right. Well, I would like to thank LAB a lot for sticking with this whole thing practically. You are the true hero here. And then also Koski Productions for coming in and cracking some jokes and making us laugh. All right. So, yeah, big thanks to everyone. New month of content. Looking forward to it. Wakanda Forever spoiler cast next week. A whole bunch of new stuff. The finale of our great Walt Disney World attractions ranking podcast is going to be happening tomorrow night, unless something out of the ordinary, something like happens. I don't want to something like, yeah, you get it. By all intents and purposes, that is coming tomorrow night. All right. Thanks, everyone. Dragon, send us out.
Well, folks, until next year when we look in the sky and we see the watchful eye of that Comic Con logo. Until we see it next year. Well, sorry, can I try that again?
Yes, sure.
Yeah,
Take
sorry, I thought.
two.
Well, face front, true believers, until the next exciting year in which we go on the grand excursion to Comic-Con yet again, whether it be through DC, Marvel, or the next best thing. Excelsior!
Enough said.